Doesn't even rhyme.
Yeah, it does.
Bring it back on the mic.
Well, out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn my mic up on the mic.
Well, out of those.
Let me in.
Go Russ. Go weird. Bring it back on the mic.
Well, out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn my mic up on the mic.
Well, out of those.
Let me in.
Go Russ.
Well, hello. Holy crap, your face is big. First thing I see when it popped, I was like, how the hell is his face must be so up in the camera. It's like he has a... Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, you tell us to... You always tell us to... Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. No, you were muted.
Tell us to mute ourselves. Anyway, you said my face was big. That's what they all say.
No, I just thought it was because you're very vain and you like to have the camera right up in your face.
No, I hate having the camera this big up in people's faces. I have no idea why it's so big this time. But nevertheless, on the normal camera, there's two side pieces. It's just because it's condensed right down into this one sliver in the middle of the camera scene.
Yeah,
that's why it looks so big.
Well, no.
Let me.
I'm not gonna go.
Put it down here.
I'm not gonna go for that joke. Anyway.
Jack headroom.
Jack, that's about as much space as you'll get. But anyway, welcome to another Darachat. Obviously, I'm crazy for doing this sort of thing, but I get to welcome back on the ever lovable, the crazy. I mean, it's the Brit. I mean, basically at this point, I've had enough people on from the UK. I feel like I'm already part of it. People tell me I do my accent wrong. But anyway, hello to you all. This is of course, this is a special occasion. Well, actually, you know what? It would have been the 10th one, but I didn't know it was the 10th one because I didn't count it. Well, not that I don't count it. I didn't count how many times you've been on. So I was like, wait a second. So how many times? Because there was one time you came on with Electric Goat, and I was like, should I count that one or not? Should I get that one? I just counted it anyway. So it's been about 12 times. That's a breaker.
You see, that's the American education system for you folks.
Yeah, we'll talk about the British one soon enough, won't we? But hey, at least I don't have to worry about metric and centigrade and all this other stuff. At this point, I've had enough. All right, it's too cold.
Metric is superior because it's base 10.
Yeah. Well, you can metric it right up your behind. That's what I'll say. But anyway, yes, it's been quite some time. You're a busy fella, right? You're a busy fella on Chinwag and doing your own show, and then going on other people's shows because I've seen you on multitude. You're just like a flyover. It's like, oh, there's another state. I'll just go.
I'm a vagabond. A vagabond of streams. I just go from place to place. I catch the train, just jump on the back of the train, from one place to another, and that's where you'll find me.
Oh, we just call them hobos, but you can have vagabond.
That's right, yeah, vagabond, hobo.
I'm an Englishman that can't get no job.
Spare any change.
can you please spare a couple? What is this, Oliver Twist? What's going on here?
I like to think more like along the lines of King of the Road, trailers for sale or rent.
They say he can't sing, but certainly he has
I
the voice
definitely
for it.
can sing. I've been doing it since I was 16.
Oh, well, okay. All right. You can have that one. All right. Just, she's trying to throw that one in my face all the time. But no, it's been a while since last time you were on. Actually,
It has.
I can't remember when last time you were on. But I mean, you're a busy guy anyway. You're all over the place. People love you. People want you. I'm pretty sure someone slipped you a 10 underneath there somewhere. I know I have, and I haven't gotten a word back yet. So, that's something right there.
I tell you all the time, I love you. If we were in the same breathing space, I would definitely have sex with you.
I think we'll need to call it on that one. That's the end of the show right there. I was going to say he's got a bit of a voice. What? I don't know. Jack has always had his voice. I don't know what's wrong with that.
A bit of a voice. I should hope that it's more than just a bit.
Yeah. Well, obviously you're not a horse, so you wouldn't be wanting a bit anyway.
I'd say nay to that anyway.
God dang it. God dang it, he threw it back at me. It's awful. Well, what have you been along this long travel, good sir? I see you've been on well, have you been back on Iron Oxide's show yet? Or have you been
I went on once about a month ago, just as a special guest. I haven't been producing on the show for a good long while now, but I went back on as a guest about a month ago, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think, what was that? There was, I don't know, were you on Dermy Wormy stuff too?
I was about a couple of weeks before that, or maybe after. I don't know. But yeah, it was... I mean, I got to be honest with you, I haven't been on many streams lately, on other people's streams lately. I'm a regular on the Hump Day Chinwag with Tomby and the crew. So every Wednesday, apart from this week, I've had family stuff to do today. And of course, I was coming on this show. They're still broadcasting right now for another hour. So, yeah, I'm not on there this week, obviously, because I would much prefer to be on here this week, as you so cordially invited me.
Well, there was like, okay, so when would you like to come on? Let me look at my calendar. Wait, 2 weeks. Oh, okay. It's always this is the thing that gets me though in doing this, right? It's not you. Obviously, you're a charm to work with. You're the whatever the English term is for kindness. But anyway, it's the well, that's usually an Australian term as well. So you guys can't just have that. Australians.
We spawned the fucking language, bro.
Well, you also sent them there for prisoning too. So there's
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
They deserved it. But no, it's the thing with the scheduling thing. It's not something that I don't think anyone doesn't have and deal with. I mean, you were, like you said, you were once Iron Oxide's producer, and so you kind of get that ideal. But the thing of it is, it's always going to be a rough challenge in itself because I usually do the majority of my outreach through Twitter X. Obviously, that's how we communicated for a long time. But it's just, so I had to recently, not too long ago, I had to implement, like, telling people, like, you've got to check your schedule, your commitments before you say yes to me, because I already had someone, I'm not going to say the name, I already had someone, they were going to come on for like I think a Saturday or whatever, and then
they double booked.
What do you mean by double booked?
Double booking means that you've booked two people at the same time.
I've had that happen once. Only once. But the person I had to go through my...
Not you, they double booked. They booked themselves on two different shows at the same time is what I mean.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, I did have that happen before, but I did get that cleared up. So when I got the other person on. But yeah, so it was sort of like a week out, and then I learned, okay, they've got this other thing going on, and they say it's bi-weekly. And I'm like, okay. All right, if you know this thing's going to be bi-weekly and you're telling me a week beforehand, well, actually a month beforehand is when this person I had made the schedule. And then I think either a week or so before that had happened, then they said, "Oh, I have this thing I do biweekly." Okay, that tells me that either you didn't look at your calendar or you forgot, which happens. I understand that, but I have this. I have this thing for a reason. I have this thing for reasons because, and again, I've had some hiccups here and there, but I've tried to keep it to a minimum because I'm not as professional as the average bear, but I'm certainly going to try. It was just one of those things where I had to say, you know what? If this thing is going to happen, then I need to put it as an output for everyone because um, I've had people. So this is what happened. One time I've had person schedule the thing, and then all of a sudden, never heard from them again. Never. It just dropped off the face of the earth. The other one, there was one person I did. They were from South Africa, but their internet went out, and of course, this is South Africa, so that's a given anyway. They aren't really in a good place to begin with. Um, and then I've had, I mean, it just scheduling is a hitch of a witch, but I'm not giving up on it because somebody decided to back out, and either they didn't want to say so or whatever, or they didn't want to be the just blunt about, look, I can't do this thing because of so and so or whatever. They just said they did that soft no thing, right? Like you don't want to hurt their feelings, but you do this little weird tangible. I'm just like, look, dude, I get it. Life happens. Just if you don't want to come on, just say so. I don't.
Just say so, yeah.
I just well, and again, it's the thing is like there was another person too who was going to have come on, and then all of a sudden they said, oh, something came up, so I can't do it. Just say you don't want, if you don't want to come on, don't come on. Or if you wanted to back out of the show, right? You changed your mind and say, look, I changed my mind. I don't, I just don't want to do this thing. I think I rushed into it. I think I'm willing to deal with that, right? Because there's like 100 other people behind you I can go after, sort of. So it's sort of hard to come back to people who you've had on before to try to contact them because it's yeah, it's one of those things. Even contacting new people, right? Like trying to, like I sent out something to ask Valiant Renegade on because why not? Why not try that?
Yeah.
Nothing. But again, it's just a try and see. But again, the scheduling thing and asking people on, it's always going to be a difficult road. But I mean, I'm only 1 month out from doing this sort of calendar thing for a whole year. So compared to where it was sporadic and then doing like almost every weekday and maybe some weekends in a month, I mean, I'm almost there. And we're just like, you can't. I'm not going to give up now. Well, 2 months. It's February. I forget. But yeah, scheduling is one of those things where I'm just like, but if it's worth its weight in gold, then it's still worth chasing. So that's what I'll do with it. But yeah, it was just like,
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying I'm worth my weight in gold.
Well, we gotta weigh you first, and then we'll get the gold, and then we'll.
Oh, I'm a right fat bastard. Oh, I'm like 120 pounds at least.
Well, I don't know if we have enough.
Could you
gold for
imagine
that.
120 pounds of gold?
I wouldn't be able to carry it.
There you are then. And did you see what I did there as well? My face isn't so big now. I remembered that I've got this camera, this camera all jerry rigged. So I've got my boom arm, right, which has got my mic attached to it down here. But the camera is actually attached to a selfie stick that's tied onto the boom arm. So I just extended the selfie stick.
You know what? Smart ideas come at the very last moment. We'll just leave it at that. So you write it down. It's like, okay, so I did that. Hold on, I'll get there. Look, I know. Oh no, but yeah, it's always nice to see from my face, and I do try to bring people back. Obviously, I've tried to bring a lot of people I've had on before, but this was a thing, right? So there was one person I've had on before, and I don't know how long it was until after I had him on, I found out they blocked me.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, what did I do? Because I'm just like, I don't.
Apparently, you were a smartass.
Possibly,
I didn't find out precisely what it was, but apparently you were a smartass. Those were the exact words that were used.
Oh, I only know of one person, so if it's another person, I have
it's
no
that
idea.
person.
Oh, okay. Are you putting yourself into this, Jack? Is that what you're trying to say?
I saw them in a chat, and I says that Dara was had been trying to reach out to you, and they says that you'd block them or something. and he said, "Yeah, there's he was being a smart ass," and I says, "Oh right, okay," and he says, "Yeah, I can DM you and tell you all about it," but that conversation never got had.
Oh,
Because I'm in their DMs sort of thing, so I can
mhm.
talk to them whenever I like because I'm not blocked.
Yeah, wow. No, congrats. Well, and that's the thing. Yeah. You're special. Well, I know you're special to some degree. Your mom probably said that to you too. It's like, oh, little Jackie, I bet you're so
With
special.
you, with you.
Well, well,
I
there's
take the
only
short bus.
well, yeah, that's really short. So it's short to about a few blocks, and then you have to get back on down back.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, it never said nothing to me, anyway. But
No, I know, and it's a bit shit when that happens because it's like, well, what do I do? You know what
well,
I mean? You're like, what?
so there
You
was
didn't even give me a fucking explanation.
Well, there was so I'm not gonna say name, but there was another person I've been trying to have on for I don't know how long, and then I just kind of walked away from trying to get him on, and then through certain circumstances, so I had a gentleman on named Physic, spelled with the X's, and then the person I was trying to get on was talking in their chat, and I only was stopping by to see what game he was playing, and then this person was saying, because Physic had asked him why you wasn't, coming out, answer my DMs or whatever. And to this person, I've never had an issue with. I've never been, in the DMs. There's practically just me. At any DM I've sent them is practically just me asking them on the show, nothing more, or and anything beyond it. I've never had anything hugely against them to some degree, or I've never come and attacked them. But then they're just like, well, he lost the opportunity to do so, or he did something and he lost the opportunity to do so. So it was whatever. I just look at it like, okay, look, if you're not at least willing to be,
Right.
if you're not, you've never answered my DM. I've always made a reply to your thing about, not always, but I've made a reply at least once or twice about, hey, would you like to come on this sort of thing? Because I've always asked. And the only time I can think of is I was on a show with Pudge once, Pudge TV, and I may have said something like in a joking manner, I was like, "Hey, why didn't you show up? Why don't you answer my DMs? Why don't you answer DMs?" That sort of thing in a joking manner, and they must have took it the wrong way. So I'll apologize for that. But if you're not going to be upfront with me about at least, what is the deal, and that's for me is like, yeah, if someone blocks you, like you're what left running, okay, what's going on? But at the end of the day, it's like I'm not. If you're going through my DMs, I'm not barking out anyone. If people just don't want to talk to me more, that's fine. I still try to outreach if I can, but I don't need the drama. I don't care about the drama. I've seen a ton of it already. Too many content creators get in an ordeal. People
It's not what
barking.
we're here for. It's
Yeah,
not what this show is about. You want to. That's the whole point of this show is to step away from all that kind of
yeah.
drama and playground bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it. Good lord, I mean, Twitter X is just ripe with it. But the point of the matter is, and the stupidity of it all, is that it is the matter of fact that yeah, I've been in those. I've let myself fall in those emotional traps in the past, but I'm trying to get better at not doing that. And I try to put a filter, or whatever. But it's when you get accused of something and you're not even sure of when that was, what it was, or whatever, and you're left stuck to wonder, okay, what was my crime, right? Because that's basically what it feels like. It feels like you committed a crime, but you don't know the crime, and you're
Well, you
just
need closure as well. That's
yeah,
the thing. Humans kind of need. They kind of feel the need for closure on a situation. It's like, look, I don't mind you not wanting to talk to me again, but I at least want to know what it was that fucking set you down that path. It's like if like someone that you've known for a long time just ghosts you all of a sudden, you're like, wow, what the fuck?
yeah.
What happened here? How did we break down to this level? And now I can't even get an answer from you because you've completely ghosted me. You won't answer any of my texts or calls. I've showed up at your house several times with a gun.
That's when you know you've gone a little too far. That one part's a little too far, Jack. Step it back. Step it back.
That's where I'm going wrong.
Look, I showed up with cookies first. You wouldn't answer. I had to bring a gun with me. Nothing
Well, I
happened.
had the gun the first time, but it was behind my back and the cookies were in front. The second
Look.
time I came with no cookies and just the gun.
You look, I come with honey, here's a little honey, then you just bring the gun, it's just vinegar. It's just like, all right, well, here we go. But it's
But
just
no, the point is that humans feel the need for closure, and if you have been in a friendship or a relationship of some kind, I mean, all right, it's one thing when it's just like someone who you tried to get on the show, or
Yeah.
someone that you've had on the show and you thought it went well, but apparently they thought you were a smart ass or whatever, and then they were like, but you still want to feel that you've got the answer because you want to make yourself better as well, don't you? You know what I mean? You don't want to just go ahead through life, not knowing whether or not you've upset someone with something that you said, and then they don't want to come back, because then you're watching all of your words and whatever you're fucking saying all the while.
Yeah, well, it's about making amends if you did something that it's not like trying to bend over backwards and all this stuff. It's trying to make amends. Like if I did do something that was beyond hey, Firecast. I like playgrounds. Have a great stream. Hey, have a good one. Thank you for being here, Firecast. My thing is it's about, so if I did you a wrong, well, at least let me apologize so we can get beyond that point. It may help me make me feel a little better, but if I did something to you, it would be best to be able to at least have that conversation and try to clear up any misunderstandings, because that's the whole point, right? I'm not trying to get at anyone. I'm not trying to get clout or whatever. That's all pardon. What it is trying to clear either up a misunderstanding, or either at least to do the forgiveness part and then move on from that. But when you're just left standing there like, okay, I was blocked, I had you on, the show seemed to be going well. I mean, we the time went by and all this stuff, and all of a sudden just like nothing. And that's where it's at. That's that feeling. And again, there's also the other part too of you've had people on or had people on before, and then you try to reach out, and of course Twitter X DMs are not great with the notifications, at least to the many people I've spoken to. But you try to reach out to somebody that you once had on, and there's just nothing.
The other thing that makes this one particularly confusing is that the person of whom we mutually know and are talking about here is usually a very outspoken person. They tend to have a lack of filter a lot of times. And so it's confusing as to why they didn't just say to you, no, this is why, and I don't want anything more to do with you. I do find that peculiar.
Yeah, so do I, but social media is like it's like a hyper steroid thing of communication, and dear Lord, it gets messy out there. But I've always been to the point where it's like, you know what, if one doesn't want to come back, that's fine. There's so many people out there. It's almost wasted time at a point, right? It's almost wasted time at worrying about. I mean, it still hits, don't get me wrong, but it's wasted time on trying to worry about, okay, what did I do wrong, whatever. If they're not willing to at least come halfway and meet me halfway and say, okay, here's the thing, then whatever they have now to say or whatever they think is dismissal, because how can I know to better, right? How can I know to better? You're just gonna block me, or not even block me, but just not say anything more, and then you say on secret back ends like, oh, he lost his chance, whatever. I'm like, to what? To what did I lose a chance if you've never answered in the first place? Like, I've only for the one with physics, not physics himself, but the one with
the dude.
It was sort of like the only time when I had the thought, and it was like the only time I've ever spoken to you like on screen or whatever was like one time is all I can remember. And all I remember was like I did joking like, why are you not answering the DMs? Why not it's just weird. It's this very weird communication thing where it's like or like you were talking about earlier, right? Where you kind of have to you're sort of being wary of your words and all that stuff. And I'm just like, when people come on, right, whether it be you, whether it be Mugen Lord from yesterday or so many others, I just tell them, the 2% thing, and then they 98% of the field. I'm like, I'd rather you just come on and talk about whatever, but I'm not gonna worry about what you say because one, I'm too small for YouTube, to be honest. So I don't think they're gonna. I have been hit before, and that was because of WWF thing, but I don't get messed up with that anymore. Not my fault. All right, it wasn't my
You were in
fault.
the WWF.
No, it was. I was
Ah.
back. I was passing by someone who's watching the WWF or playing a WWF game, whatever it was, and yeah, not gonna mess with that again. But it's just you want to talk about you want to talk about being communicative and or whatever, and then you don't be communicative. It's a weird thing, but I'm not. I can't let it stop me from doing this because again, there's too many. There are too many people for one person to bring you to the point like you just stop the whole show, or if you can't get somebody
Absolutely.
on.
Any more fish in the sea, as they say.
Well, my rod's starting to get a little low, so I'm gonna have to start going back to make another. But no, it's just
Oh, is that why I'm on for the 12th time? Because you're finding it very difficult to find guests. So, Old Faithful will do the job for me for the 12th time.
you know what? I could have easily asked someone else, and you could have easily been someone
I got
else.
plenty of bitches I could have asked on.
Well, I do know a lot of women, but majority of them are married, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just one of those things. The scheduling was always going to be either conflicts with the schedule, or they want a schedule and then they kind of back out and they don't say up front, or it's a multitude of things. But I
But
think
you know me, mate. I'll always come on. Anytime you ask me, I'll always try and make the time for it.
yeah, I always know you come, and it's not a good sign always. That's like Tom B. Just take him back, please. Just. Oh goodness, but no, yeah, like I was saying with the description there, it was, and I think I've said this a few times, but it was through Jessica Reloaded that I met you, which was through her chat, and then I had you on, and then there was, I think Tomby was first, and then Smoo and Yarny and all the rest of them kind of fell through that, and then just
You've
like
even had Abe on now.
twice because he begged the second time. So I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he did kind of beg to be on. He whined about it. He's all right.
Did he come on as Celine Dion?
He was trying to come on something, that was for sure. That's don't even want to get to that one. Don't even want to get to that one. But no, I've had him. I've had Gaddath. I've had Hanayama-sama. I've had
Hanayama-sama.
Hanayama-sama. Yeah, I said that.
Okay.
I said that.
Hanayama-san.
No, it's Sama. Yes, Hanayama.
Hanayama-san.
All right, Hanayama-san. For goodness, it's words
It's
here.
a Japanese thing.
I know. It's yeah, I get it. It's okay.
He's half and half.
I know he's. Well, they were friends back during that time, so we'll just leave it at that.
I hope he's watching.
I just remembered that one. I think it was like, what was it? Count Dankula was trying to teach his pug how to do the salute.
Yeah, but it wasn't that. No, so the story behind that is that the dog would do that anyway. But what he did was he then associated a certain phrase, and every time he said that phrase, the dog would do the thing that he used to always do anyway. So the dog's gesture had absolutely nothing to do with that at first. He just associated it with it.
Das gut.
Not for him, it won't.
Well, yeah, because he went to like prison for a little while or whatever.
I think he got fined £800. He had to pay £800 in restitution and court costs and stuff like that.
He's a very thin man after that. Goodness sake. No, yeah, and yeah, it's just been through you. There've been a lot of others, mostly just through Tomby and his arena. But I mean, there's still been plenty more. But I mean, and I haven't done a recent count so far of how many I've had on. But I think when you could say you've had on over 130 guests, that's something. Even if they only come on.
Are they 130 individual guests? Like not like resittings of the same
No.
guests?
No. You're not that good. It's not that kind of show, Jack. No, so what? How
Not
it
that
is?
kind of resitting.
No. How it is? How I do it is the first time someone comes on, I count that as the guest faction, right? And then each guest has their own, return counter, right? Like you have your 12, and then Tomby's been on like three times so far, and then of course you have Abe's been on twice, and so on and so forth. Once someone comes on for the first time, they have their own individual counters. I'm talking of the scalability of like a new guest and all that stuff. But I don't count every episode as a guest. That's kind of beyond the point of this. I'd be like, oh look, I've had 500 guests. That's not true. Um, but yeah, I count the first time they come on, and so I mean, I know where my last count was for my 100, and then I counted up a bit last time, and it was like around a little over 130. But there's been more since that time, so I have to go back and I have to recount and be like, okay, so I count the 1 minus the 0, add the 2 plus minus 3. I don't know where I'm at, but yeah, so it's been over 130 different guests, and I mean, even if I don't get the people, at least some of the people who are considered high end or whatever by some content creators, the point of it is those are just people at the end of the day. I don't give a rat's behind of their follower count, because that's what I don't count, right? Like if you were to look at both ends of my follower count, you'd be like, oh wow, that's pretty something. YouTube probably not, but maybe the Rumble side, sure. But that's not the point when I do it. That's great. I mean, hopefully it helps with like the credibility factor, but
I mean, you've been pushing Rumble now for some time, and you do enjoy, like, streaming to Rumble. And I've noticed that lately, that your YouTube count has been almost nil all the time. Like the majority of your viewers and the majority of people who are in the chat, they're all watching on Rumble. So it must be doing something over there.
Well, I think part of it is that because I do something that's not. It's not gaming. It's not politics. It's not news. It's not the attention grabbing sort of thing. It's just, oh, he's talking to people. Oh, and they go somewhere else. And again, I've had a lot of people who I've had on as guests come by once in a while, but then again, they rarely come back at all. And so you have that thing where it's sort of like you just. I don't want to say it like that, but you do kind of. It does kind of feel like you're churning through people, and they just like, oh, and then they're done, and they just go out and never return.
One and done.
Well, maybe not one and done. I've had some people back on a few times, but the point of the matter is it's sort of like it's just that thing where I do this thing that's not as popular with a lot of people, because they wanted the gaming, they want the culture war stuff, they want all the things that will keep their attention, and I just do this thing that's talking to other people. I just see the importance elsewhere than what they do, but maybe I don't do it. Maybe I don't do it in a structured way, like Ryan Roger Athe does his, or all these other people. I'm just like, so what? I mean, I'm not.
We'll write that down for a solid 22 minutes and 33 seconds.
I was like, so what is that? And he's like, it's my he does that for his timestamp thing, which I get. I mean, when the only time I had him on, at least so far, because I haven't come back on yet, was he is a person who's more for the structured end, right? He would say he studied Nerdrotic, he's watching all these other content creators, whatnot, and we come from different areas where he's more of studying them, trying to better on them, and all this stuff. Where I'm just like, I do this thing that's more free flowing, but there's been a lot of greatness that's come out of it, regardless of what people consider greatness or success. And so we're two very different people. And of course, yeah, he's either Welsh or UK. Someone doesn't even know what he is anymore.
I don't know where the fuck he comes from, because he says he's Welsh.
Yeah.
He says he's also 25, and I'm not entirely sure I believe that, but he sounds like Hannibal Lecter. So I don't know. I love Ryan. He's a great showman. He's a great entertainer, and he's a great presenter. And like you say, he's going for the high production value sort of avenue.
Yeah.
And he's a great content creator, and he's been through a couple of controversies himself, and
yeah, obviously,
he's gotten through them. Do you know what I mean? So
Spear Chucker, I remember that one.
Speargate.
Yeah, and again, he does the thing that he wants to aim for. However that may be, he does the structured aspect. But for me, I've been like, for all the creators I followed, whether it be G&G, FNT, or Nerdrotic, whatever, all this, there was a thing that kept missing that I didn't understand why no one was picking up, right? Like, there are people I've met along the way who sort of do something similar, but there wasn't anything the attribution of, because again, how from my perspective, right? This is just from my perspective scene of being just a follower. This was before I even started making content creation. I was just a follower following these people, right? So you'd have these content creator, or whatever you want to call it. They do either singular or they do panel, right? And some of these panels get so ridiculous, it's innumerable. They have a conversation to begin with. So you get someone.
You have a large panel, and it's very difficult to keep hold of them. Which, to Ryan's credit, that's why he gives everybody a turn. So that, because he does have a large panel, but at the same time, he gives everybody a turn to say something, give their shout. You know what I mean? Because then that way, it's not everyone talking over one another.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that where he does try to do that. But I mean, there's still those hiccups. But I'm gonna talk about like FNT, right? You have all that stuff. The point of the matter was, I kept seeing a lot of these content creators that I followed, and they're all over the place, but they were doing something. They were doing something that I wasn't seeing, or they weren't doing something that I wasn't seeing anyone else do, and that was just having people on a conversational scale, right? You'd have content creators. They build their circle. They keep their circle, right? How long was Az on FNT before he just decided to walk away from that, right? So you have these people who build their circle, and that's fine, right? They build their circle, whatever, and then they start either going for people who are within what they're going for, right? They're going in for what they're going for, or they're finding people to heighten their status or enhance their status, or what we didn't call it. Making it
it's
sound
called
like
clout chasing.
Making it sound like a monarchy over here. But anyway, bringing it up the way. So you have these build, and it's not, it's just a thing where you understand that you're trying to, like, reliability and all this stuff. I understand you don't want to just bring a stranger in because you don't know what's going on. But again, what do you call a majority of what they bring in for FNT, right? Just an example, because that's as much as I have. Because I don't know too much of any other big panel ones, maybe other than Ryan's, but I'm pretty sure he knows a lot of different people, which is all over the place. But you have an example like FNT where they bring these people on, which are kind of either they've made some big point that got noticed on the algorithm, whatever, or they did this thing, just something that got the notice, right? Or they have a lot of followers, whatever. Majority of the time, those people are sitting in the center of that 10, was it 9, and or sometimes 10, depending on how much StreamYards can hold, because Gary does use StreamYards, and majority of the time they're just sitting there quiet, or they're trying to. And so for me, it was just like, why are you inviting these kind of people? Why are you inviting guests on if you can't even? I mean, if it was something like, as an example, like Drinker, or what's the other one they bring on? He does EFAP. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Mauler.
You people like that, people who are within the circle, they'll just it just goes, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, that they have a natural. So with these kinds of show, you've got to have a natural sort of stop and start, right?
Yeah.
You can have people on a show, like a panel show, and they haven't got that filter in their head. And they want to talk every fucking second. They want to hit upon every point that every single person is saying, and that it doesn't give everybody a chance to speak. And then you've got some people who have a natural flow about them, And when they can hear that someone wants to break in, to the conversation, they'll take a step back. There's a certain etiquette to doing a panel show.
Yeah.
And if, like I said, if you've got a bunch of people on who don't have that same etiquette, they overlap each other. There have been shows that I've just dropped from because every time I tried to fucking speak, there's one person who's trying to get their point in over the top of you, and it's like, I haven't even fucking finished my sentence. I haven't even finished making my fucking point, and you're already talking over me, and you've done it to every member on the panel so far, and it's just like, right, I'm out. I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Yeah. It's and that's, again, I think, to my own detriment. That kind of makes it hard. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I've been on Ryan's hard. Come on. God dang it. For my own, like Ryan's show, or say, even Tomby's show, it might be a detriment itself, because I want to be hospitable to the guests I have on. I want them to be able to finish their thought out. Because if you interrupt someone, right? If you interrupt someone mid-speech or whatever, and some people could take advantage of it and go long. Sometimes you have to figure that one out. But if you have people who are honest and all that stuff, and they're trying to get a thought out, and you interrupt them in the middle of it, they can't get back to it. Right?
A lot of the time.
Yeah. And I don't even have to get to the middle of it. I just forget, like, where am I at again?
And it's not just that. It's because, like, you're talking about something and you allow someone to have that point of view. And if you're on like a panel show rather than a one-to-one, when you're on a panel show, that person will interject with their point over what you were saying, and then other people will start interjecting over them about something that they want to say. And by the time it's gone round, your point is completely, it's not even part of the topic anymore, and so it's difficult to go back to that, even if you can fucking remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
And sometimes I forget what that topic is, so there's that too. Dang it. No, and that's why I do Dara's Hangout Den on a small scale. I mean, you were there with Panda, and actually,
Great show.
It was just me, you, and Panda, to be Tiny Panda, to be honest. The third person didn't want to show up. But that's why I do it on that small scale, because I've seen.
Is it because I'm a bigot?
I just thought you were big, but that's a totally different other story. No.
Well, thank you, Dara. I appreciate you saying so.
I meant big in the head, not big there. That's a different story.
Oh, of course, yeah. Thanks.
But the point of the matter is, it's sort of the.
I'm still here.
Well, now I feel like I'm talking to a wall.
You're not talking to a wall. I'm still here. I just want to wipe my nose. I just don't want it to be able to be clipped. That's all.
And right now he's picking his nose with the handkerchief.
I'm not picking my nose. I'm wiping my nose. I've been out for a lovely Indian curry tonight, and I'm still feeling the effects from it.
Oh, well, hopefully it's those effects, not the other effects.
Oh, no, they'll come tomorrow when my bottom starts burning.
Thank you. Come again.
Exactly.
Oh man, now I forgot where it was.
I did it to you. We were literally just talking about it, and now I've done it to you.
No, I get it back. But that's. I just can see you in pain.
Joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Justly so. No, but again, that's why I kind of learned from that. So like 9%, like, so my thought was like, okay, so what is the amount that would work that you could still have a conversation, but it wouldn't be so noisy? And of course, I mean, even with my last Dara's Hangout Den over Saturday, it was still pretty wild, but we were able to have a conversation onto some manage where it wasn't so overcrowded. And that's why I do it at that scale, because one, again, Dara's Hangout Den is about bringing people together who've been on before. I guess Darachat could be seen as sort of like a vetting point, but even then, you never know. you don't know how people will mix together and whatnot. But that's the whole point, is try to mix these people up, because you probably would never had that opportunity, or never had crossed those paths. Maybe, but
Hmm.
the point of the matter is, like, when you were on with Tiny Panda, there would probably been a never opportunity where you would want to cross paths with her, because you're just like, you're doing your own thing with Tommy's crew and all that stuff. So that opportunity may never have come. But with Dara's Hangout, then, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, one of the wonderful things that did come from that was because I know that because I discovered during that stream that Tiny Panda Face likes to do yarn work.
Mhm.
I put her in touch with Yarn Witch, who you've also had on the show, and now they're best of buddies. Batting their ideas between one another. So it's all networking. You know what I mean? And just because I haven't been on another stream, I still follow Tiny Panda Face. You know what I mean? And I'm still we're still friends on Twitter. I'd love to get on a stream with her again. I think she's absolutely great. It's just that we've not had the opportunity yet.
Yeah, and that's what Dara's Hangout. But again, it's only for people who've been guessing Darachat, because I don't want to say it's a vetting thing, but it does kind of feel like it is in a way a vetting thing, because when at least the people I bring on, I can know a bit, right? Like, maybe I don't know how they react to each other. Like, I'm trying to bring, like, with what was it, Tombi, Alpha, and Panda Sub. They were people who sort of dealt with the technology stuff, but not all of them are on the same scale of that regard. One worked in the TV area. One was a tutor for coding and stuff, and whatever Tommy does for his thing. He's works in IT stuff. So I thought the similarities would work, but still, it was a great time for having that. It's just,
so why did you think that I'd be a good match for Tiny Panda Face, knowing that she's like a textile crafter?
well, I didn't know she was textile crafter first off, but I just thought it was just something. Again, it's about mixing it up and trying to meet different.
We'll get someone from. Where's she from? China.
No.
Her family or her background is from China. Her family are from China. And I'm from the UK, so you thought to yourself, we'll get one from that part of the world, we'll get one from that part of the world, we'll bring them together and we'll see what can happen.
She's in the US. Don't give me that. She's in the US. But it's just about presenting the opportunity. Again, even Darachat, for me, when I have people on, it's not about just an opportunity for me. It's about an opportunity for the other person too, because there's opportunity anywhere, everywhere, as long as you're willing to be open to looking for. And that's what I consider Darachat, Dingers, Hangout Down, and of course the Rumble Squared stuff to be, because they were just things I didn't see people doing, or trying to do something differently. Like, I know that some content creators bring someone on and then they kind of get visited to their circle, but throughout all of what you've done for streaming, have you ever seen someone bring a bunch of strangers together? Maybe not to the individual, but to you, bring together, and just didn't matter what, if they were creator or not, they just brought them together and just like had a conversation of where it was. I don't
see that anywhere on YouTube or Rumble.
I'm not that big, to be honest, but the point of the matter was, it's creating the opportunity to have the opportunity, which is a weird way of saying it.
Well, there's a gap in the market, and you're filling that gap in the market.
Same with what Darachat is, to fill in that. It just like, and I've tried my best to try to. So when I'm inviting someone, right, I try to tell them the whole Daramouthe's name thing, and then what the show is basically at its core, and then just trying to invite them on. But it's always a difficulty in trying to explain. It's just a free, because people, when people hear it first, right, not all, but some, they're like, wait, what is that? Are there topics to discuss? Well, I'm just, no, it's just a conversational show. I've had that happen a few times before, where someone was asking, like, okay, so what are the topics? Like, the conversation is the topic. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, wherever we go. I think I asked that before the first time I came on. Like, what's the format? What are we doing? What are the subjects? And you were like, well, we'll see as we go. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Let's do this then.
And then he said, And he's like, "Why am I back for the 12th time again? What the hell's going on?"
No, it's because I like the format so much that I'm happy to come back. And the way that I see it is that it's a meandering chat. It goes from one place to another. There's no saying, there's no knowing what we'll talk about. We always tend to talk about completely random things, and it goes from place to place. So it's like a river that flows. You know what I mean? It just meanders from one bend to another.
I thought you were gonna sing that song from Willy Wonka. There's no way of knowing. Showing. Is it raining? Is it pouring? Is a hurricane blowing? That would have been like, wow, I didn't know you could sing so good. That was like
I can,
earlier.
I just don't know that one.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
it off by heart. No, I know the song, I just don't know it off by heart.
Neither do I. I just knew the few words, but it's rhyming. It's basically rhyming at a certain point. Rowing, flowing. I mean, kids, if you
Isn't that what singing and songwriting is, though? Just
I
rhyming.
I don't know. You're gonna have to ask a
Singing.
rapper because sometimes they get all mumbling like, and then they start throwing a few curse words out, and then somebody's like, they go back to that.
Hey, just because it's from the ghetto and just because it's from a black artist doesn't mean it's not music, yo.
Hey, you know what? Elvis sung about the ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto.
And his mama cries. I love that song. Great
Yeah.
song. I like Elvis.
Yeah.
Jamie's dead.
Yeah, well, obviously the story is kind of widely off. He either died in a toilet from drug abuse or something like that, but who knows at a certain point. But no,
I think he had a heart attack, didn't he, on the shitter?
Well, I went to go see the movie, right? The who was the director for that one? It was the one with Austin Butler playing playing Elvis, which was pretty good. I mean, other than the one section where they had like a current rap song in the middle of it, I'm like, everything else was fine until this point. This doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. And of course, biopics are always sort of exaggerated because it'd be pretty boring to go see, oh, well, I just got lucky off the gig, right? But I went to go see that, and it's sort of like he kind of got himself in a situation where, like or Colonel Snow or whatever his name was, that kind of took advantage of that because he was a big star, right? He would get into that whatever that hotel was that he was at, and all that stuff. So, it's sort of like being given bad advice, but you don't know it's bad advice, and it's only years later when history shows, yeah, that guy was given bad advice, that sort of stuff.
Did you ever see the is it the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limit?
Oh,
I always forget, but I think it's the Twilight Zone. It's a Twilight Zone episode where there's this Elvis impersonator in modern day. He's an Elvis impersonator.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes through this fucking time war back into the 50s or whatever. And he meets Elvis, but accidentally ends up killing him, like, because he's a massive fan and he wants to talk to him and meets him. Yeah. And he ends up killing him, but then he takes the place of Elvis. And because he's an Elvis impersonator and he knows all about him, he lives Elvis's life. And so by the end of the episode, he's like, fat Elvis, that sort of thing. Yeah. And he's lived Elvis's life for him, basically. Have you ever seen that?
No, I mean,
it's a good one.
The only Twilight Zone one I've ever seen through was the one where the guy was in the bank vault and a hydrogen bomb fell, and then he had he was the only man left. He wanted to read all day long, and then the end of the story is that his glasses fall off his face, and he can no longer see through his glasses. Like, I can't read my books. I can't read my books.
There was time now.
There was time. But it was stuff like that. I mean, there was Outer Limits too. That came sort of, at least for me later, but Twilight Zone was like 50s and stuff. That's way older.
No, I'm talking about the modern day, like the 80s Twilight Zone.
Oh, okay. I only knew. Yeah, I didn't know they brought it. I just thought they continued that from the 50s. To be honest, like Dr.
No, the 50s Twilight Zone ended and then it came back in the 80s.
Okay. Well, it sounds like what Doctor Who was. It just and it came back in the it came back in
Kind
the
of,
80s.
but the Twilight Zone didn't end up being shit and gay.
Well, you can't predict them all, and so that's how it goes. Oh crap, there was something. No, but like you were talking about the meandering stuff, right? Like I just say free flowing, meandering, whatever it might be. The point of the matter is I just didn't see a lot of creators kind of, and they don't have to, right? I'm not here to tell people what content to create, what road to go down. I'm not here to tell them any of that. It's not a this is what you should do thing. This is what I saw and this is what I didn't see. Because for me, in doing this whole thing, right, it's sort of like Monopoly, right? You know, in Monopoly, you have this pass go, you have Indiana Avenue, all this stuff. But there's also that spot called the parking spot or park spot, whatever it's called.
Free parking.
Free parking, right? And so during the game, you'll be forced through some of the cards, whatever, to put money into the center of it, right? If anyone lands on that spot, it's just free money lying there, right?
Mhm.
Same thing with Darachat. It was like there's a lot of people out there who, if given the opportunity, will have great conversations, or like that one you made a comment on, it's like trying to draw blood from stone.
Mm.
That was
That was
a fun-
really difficult to watch.
But it
I've
was,
got to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here watching you struggle your ass off to hold a conversation with this person.
mhm.
I'm like, didn't I message you straight after? And I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, that was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I learned how to get my skill better though, and that's the point. That's the point right there. Even if it made it look rough and risky, but again, there are people out there who've told me like, hey, you know, some people don't even show their face. Like Happy Mars. Happy Mars has been on, and he's never shown his face before. But I mean, he's come on multiple times, and I don't care if you don't show your face. The General Duality's been on, doesn't show his face. So many people have been on who don't show their face. The point of the matter
Yeah.
is,
There's a lot of streamers that don't do that, and they seem to do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Carrying on like that. Me personally, I go for the semi-disguise. I know that I know this is like, you know, the fucking the mustache and nose and glasses sort of thing. If I took it off, you know, people wouldn't go, "Oh, it's you after all this time." Do you know what I mean? If anyone I know saw me and heard me, they'd know that it was fucking me. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's more for the sort of AI or the facial recognition algorithms. I don't want to be on here and out there in the real world where we actually do have facial recognition technology. I don't want the two to mix, but I still want to be able to put my face out there. I'm not saying that people who have who don't show their face, I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. How you doing, Fo? I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. I'm just saying that I think that there is more of a connection with the crowd if you show your face.
Yeah, and
you can emote more.
Yeah, I also understand it too. I understand, but I also understand brand thing like this. I mean, I've shown. I think I wore sunglasses when I first started, because when I first started, I was just showing my hands, or I didn't show anything, and then I showed my hands, and I worked my way up. But for me, it's sort of like after a while, you know, the hat was sort of just a come up out of thin air sort of idea, and then the sunglasses. I've already explained, like my sunglasses are like it's a hospitality factory, right? Like, yeah, you could see me do this, but you won't see when my eyes are darting, because I do think to some degree, if you are a content creator, right, you bring someone on. Now, as much as you know, right, people, they're looking at the chat, they're looking at yours. I can't look directly at you. I'm looking at you on the screen, but you know, I'm looking at you to some degree. But you're talking about like a content creator, right? Then you have having on someone as a guest. They can see your eyes dart all over the place, like your chat or whatever. You're trying to keep eye on things, which happens, you know, it's part of your deal. But it also feels like, okay, so they're not paying attention to me. And that's the feeling I got, was like, well, if I'm not paying attention to some degree, I'm just looking all over the place, then it's very inhospitable.
I get where you're coming from, yeah. Because you're having to do the producer role and you're looking here, there, and everywhere, you don't want the person on the stream to think that you're not paying attention to them.
Yeah. That's again, you have headphones for a reason, right? To hear them out, and then and for these are just for, you can't see where my eyes are at, but you know that I am listening to you, and that's the important part, right? I've taken that little, I've told you the mystery, I've unfolded the mystery for you, but you know that you aren't sure where my eyes are looking at. You just know that I can hear you. And that's the important part. That's the hospitable part. This is just a branding thing, right? Like you have people who put their watermark on certain shows, whether it be like their little emblem or something like that. This is my watermark, right? You have people restream your streams on other places, right? And they try to overlap your watermark, whatever. Well, guess what? They'd have to do a whole top of my head, and that looks weird because this is my watermark as well. So there's that. But oh, for eye strain. Well, no, there are special glasses for that. I think they're like yellow, like they have yellow sunglasses or something like that, where it kind of helps. But no, they're just a hospitality factor. There we go.
I used to have a different law anytime someone brought up my glasses. Like, I used to say, like, no, if I take my glasses off, it's like Scott from
Yeah,
X-Men. If I
X-Men.
take them off, I'll just destroy my entire living room, that sort of thing. And then I would, like someone else asked, I would say, no, if I take them off, you'll fall in love with me instantly. Or if I take them off, all you'll see is these two black dark recesses that stare deep into my soul, or it's like Uzumaki. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
So there's a different law every time someone asks why I'm wearing the glasses, and the real reason is it's just because of facial recognition
yeah,
technology. I just
yeah,
don't want to be recognized out there
yeah.
as, because video can be captured here on the internet if my face is shown, but I also want to be able to show my face because I want to be able to emote.
Yeah. If you just want to emote, you like, or that kind of stuff.
Well, I suppose I could get one of those VTuber, character anime things, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
fuck that. But
that's
too
too
much
much work.
trouble.
Jack in VTuber form would be a little weird. It's like, I don't remember him being
Anime titties with jiggle physics, that's it. That's all it would be.
Just wait until I get you on with Kaiju. That'll be something, dear Lord. But no, yeah, again, I was just watching these other people, content creators I followed, not do this thing that I felt weird. It's like I would think he's a man of mystery. Well, that is true. Jack is a man of mystery, but that's only because he pays for that. He pays to be the man of mystery. In fact, I saw that plate he has. It's called Man of Mystery, and I said, "Wait a second, your Austin Powers like shh, calm it down, calm it down."
Also, help me, God, I'll come to your house with a plate of cookies and a gun behind my back. You see, Davey, you weren't here earlier, so that joke has just come full circle.
Yeah,
but
yeah. and the show has ended. I'm saying no, I'm joking. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what that is, it's Power Hour time, which means we do self-promotion time. That's right. You've seen so many content creators do before. I thought you'd know it with it. No, it's just me trying to do something where I set aside some time for us to promote ourselves, because not everyone I've had on creates content, but maybe they do have something to promote. That's either a book, like a lady I've had on. Her name's RH Snow. Lovely. I didn't know she was the age she said until she told it to me, because I thought she was in her 40s, but that's not true. So that was something there.
Was she in her? Well, you're going to have to explain that a little bit more to me now. Was she in like her hundreds? Was she in her 20s?
No,
what?
60s. She's in her 60s.
Oh, okay.
She just didn't look like she was in her 60s. That's all I'm saying.
So she actually remembers Elvis.
Maybe. I didn't ask. I'm not going to ask either now. Thanks for that. But no, it's just me setting aside some time for us to self-promote, whether the guest has a promotion or not. And it's sort of like doing it on like an hourly timer. We've done an hour of just talking about, goofing off, whatever. Take a little break, and then we'll get back to it after, because, I mean, it's just that. So, sorry, rebooting. But anyway. Yep, it's one of those days. But anyway, so Jack's links, Jack, actually, your link tree is down below. But since I know you like showing yourself off to the ladies, the floor is yours.
Oh, is it that time? Give me a
No,
second.
no, no, wrong wording.
Go to my only Jacks. No, anyway, no, I am JackTarLad. You can find me on all of my socials in my link tree right there. Usually JackTarLad, at JackTarLad, everywhere. Twitter, Rumble, YouTube. I think, I'm going to start streaming to Twitch shortly. I'm going to do some of these live streams that I've been doing. I'm going to start doing them to Twitch. Recently, I started a new stream called Read and Roll, which is on a Thursday night, which you're on tomorrow, Dara, if you remember. You're on that tomorrow night.
What? I'm going to have to look at it. Was at 5, right? 5 p.m. my time?
I don't fucking know. It's 10 p.m. my time, so make sure you're there.
Let me go do the work. I'll hold on. You keep doing your thing.
Anyway, Read and Roll. And it's where we take a fighting fantasy choose your own adventure book, and I play the games master, and I invite a weary adventurer on to be the adventurer of the book. And so last week we had Abe on for our sort of test inaugural premiere stream. It worked well, and so I've decided to continue doing it. So Dara is on tomorrow night.
Yes.
At 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time.
So
is that 5 p.m.?
Yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern.
Because you're 5 hours ahead of me. So there's that.
Okie dokie.
I had to look
at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And so basically, come and check that out. I think I might start streaming that to Twitch as well as Rumble and YouTube. I haven't given you the 3 books to choose from yet because I want to give them to you on stream, but you'll have to choose from one of 3 books, and that's just simply so that you can't go away and research the book first, the one that you choose. And it was this.
Thanks, Davey. I appreciate that. It was good with Abe. Yes, it was. It was good with Abe.
It was a good show. He really enjoyed himself. It was a good book as well. It was one of the better fighting fantasy books. They're all very similar, but House of Hell was one of the better ones. Tomorrow we'll see which book you choose. And I've been so the way that I do it is I have all of the fighting fantasy books in PDF form. And what I've been doing is I've been having to manually, because you can't, the way that it works is you have to go from chapter to chapter. It'll say, if you choose this, turn to page 207. If you choose this, turn to page 351 or whatever. Right. And so in order to do that quickly and not have to scroll through the thing, I bookmark the actual numbers and I bookmark the pages in a Word document. But I don't actually have the Word documents readily available on the internet or anywhere. So what I've been having to do is manually go through every single book, do all the optical character recognition on the PDF files and that kind of stuff. And so it's an ongoing process. I haven't got all of the books done, but I've got several books to choose from. So every week, someone chooses one from 3 books, and they become the adventurer for that show. So come and check that out. And on a Tuesday night, I do my JackTarLad Plays stream, and currently we're on Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And last night's stream is ready for replay. So if you want to go and watch that, please do. And on Wednesday night, I'm usually on the midweek, the Hump Day Chinwag with Tom B and the crew, so you can go and check me out there. But usually I'm on Twitter, just, shit posting, basically.
Well, yeah, it's mostly about your Prime Minister, though, so there's that.
He is a massive arsehole, though, mate.
Well, Well, what can I say to a country that doesn't really have much of a free speech and or a Second Amendments? That's pretty much that.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
we're screwed, mate. For
yeah.
want of a better word.
Well, screwed, demolished, upended. I'm trying to go through the English encyclopedia here.
It don't matter. Anyway, we got Dara next. Dara, what do you do? Where do you
Just,
come from? What's your thing?
destroyed, empired, tumbled, chaotically, chaotically disturbed. I mean, man, I'm coming up with some good stuff here. Anyway, anyway. Oh wait, well, I thought you were gonna ask me about the books. Or are you gonna do that on the show?
Oh no, you get to do that on the show
Okay.
tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll read the back of the book.
Okay.
You know, the blurb that they have on the back of the book.
Yeah. They call
So
it a summary.
I'll read 3 of those to you, and you can choose which one you want to do for that stream, basically. And then that way you don't get a chance to research the book and find out what the best way through the book is. Because there is a good way through the book and there's a bad way through the book. But just because you go the bad way through the book doesn't mean that you won't win it. And just because you go the good way through the book doesn't mean that you'll win it.
Mhm.
In fact, you're very likely to fail on your first attempt.
Yeah.
Abe failed on both of his attempts, but he got pretty far through the book, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah. And I didn't think I'd see the day where Tommy would rely on boobs to sell his show. I didn't
Dude.
I didn't think he'd be up. Jack, daily dysfunction.
Oh, thank you, Daly.
So you don't cheat. I got that, okay? It's not like I do this. It's not like I would anyway. It's like, all right, well, let's see. It's like my show. I would just see where it goes. Thank you, Neuro. Anyway, from my end of things, because I have to figure out what mystery Jack's going to present me tomorrow. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, yeah, that's right. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Who do I have on? Tomorrow's Thursday, because I do have someone on tomorrow. Yes. So
is that straight after my stream?
Yes, that is straight after.
So it's like at that. Is that at 6 p.m. 7 p.m. your time?
7 p.m.
So you've got to finish like 10 minutes before at least.
Give me 20 minutes and we'll be good.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate. It's going to take at least 20 minutes to go through the rules and shit.
If you can give me 15 minutes, give me 15 minutes, because I'll have things set up way before that.
We'll do it, buddy. Don't worry. We'll do it. I'll bring you right to 7 o'clock.
Oh,
and you can just go from one stream to another.
You always say you'll bring me to the top, but then you always push me back down the hill.
Anticlimax, is that what it is?
It's about as anticlimactic as you can get. Even worse, it's destructive, oppressive. It's unusually embarrassing,
unsatisfying.
Unsatisfying. No, I was trying to add more to what I was doing earlier, but I
anyway.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, don't forget. But anyway, for my end of things, right? Because Jack's already done with his. Whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow. Anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated on either end, because again, not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want, it also helps in having other people on as guests, like the 12th timer JackTarLad, or Tomby, or Yarnwich, or Abe, or UB Legend, or Tiny Panda Face, or Panda Sub, and so many others. Over 130 guests so far. I have actually got to go back and recount. Otherwise, I'm not going to know my next milestone is 200, but we'll see how far I get to that. But anyway, helps with the having other guests on. So again, any help with the engagement factor on either Rumble or YouTube is much appreciated. Of course, I have a link down below. You can go check out where all my stuff is at. I have a link to my Twitter X. I have a link to my Discord. I don't think that works anymore. I have an email on there. And many which ways you can find me on. Or if you'd like to take up the opportunity to come on yourself, guess what? There's a comment section down below on either end. And of course, my link. Again, any help with the engagement factor and the link down below. Much appreciated, everyone, because it is one of those things where I'm still in that field of like nobody really knows much of my name, but when it gets to the point, because my thing is like when so I do this the third show I do, which is just once a month, like Dara's Hangout Den, which is once a month, because there I have a lot of people to choose from, but to do it many times more than once would be a headache. So I don't do it. And weekends just make it easier. Um, but the other one I do is Remote Squared, and so I have a gentleman named Mr. R help me kind of like because I'm using Excel sheets now. I'm doing like a form survey I've been posting out there. Um, and I was sort of like trying to tell him like I'm trying to at least at some point because of guests and inviting people on is trying to make my name sort of undeniable, right? Like you can't turn away when that name is mentioned, sort of thing. And it's not to say that is easier than say, okay, so what is the process to get there? Because for me, I'm just doing this thing to enjoy it, right? It's not like any, oh, the money or whatever. It's just to enjoy that process of. But that is also another nag on the back of my mind where it's like, if your name is well known enough and maybe not celebrity stuff on that matter or celebritism in that sense, but just well known enough that people are like, oh, I've heard about that guy or known about that guy, and that helps. Well, one, it could either hurt or help depending on who you're asking, and I'm sure there are some people out there that rather just say things that they wouldn't say in, to the face of or private DM, whichever you want. Um, Tiviva and his data guy, Seeds have been playing. All right. Oh, thanks, Nair. No, I appreciate that. Don't know if I'll ever be on the show or ever be on mine, but I'm all for it.
What, Viva Fry?
Yeah. Neuro is a mod in his chat. I think you said you were a mod in his chat, weren't you, Neuro? Thanks for what you were saying to me. But I mean, again, that's all that networking stuff. Again, it's like a 90% to 10% or 99% to 1%. I may never get that opportunity, but if the opportunity's there, might as well try, right? But I mean, again, it's about trying to build a name that can't be denied, and yeah, that comes with the bad stuff of it too. But again, I've seen more good out of doing this thing than bad. Not just the Rumble Squared, not just Darachat, not just Dara's Hangout Den, but all of it, because all of it is a work in progress. Obviously, I can have anyone. I can have on. I can have almost anyone on. I can have almost anyone on. That it doesn't matter of the stature or status of the individual. Yes, if that person's good. I've had Nina Infinity on. She's considered a big YouTuber, right? That's at least from what I understand. But I don't care about that. I get to have her on the first time ever. Hope I'll get to do it again. But she's also a content creator, so that complicates things. I've had many other people who maybe small or big, whatever. But that's not for me. That's not the point. The point is having the conversations like at a dinner table, right? You remember back in the day, you'd all around the table, and I would ask how your day was, or maybe not yours, but possibly majority
I'd
of
be very
people.
surprised if my mom was asking how your day was.
Well, it's an example. It's not an actuality. Let's just keep it to the hypothetical, there, good sir. All right, keep it to the hypothetical. But the thing about it is that I didn't think. Well, I started towards the tail end of 2023, and then with all this stuff, like I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think I'd be talking to people like you, or I don't know why they just got me. Why am I not doing like big words, strong words? It's all the words. I'm not doing stuff like that. But I didn't think I'd be here doing this thing because I didn't, I need people just trying to find a niche, and I found it. But I just didn't think I'd be here, and to be through all this stuff, whether it be the challenges of scheduling or having people on or whatever. I want to go through the way of not doing like what everyone else does. I'm not looking to maybe look at other content creators like, oh, okay, so um, well, actually no, there may be ideas and stuff that I may want to try and see if they'll help improve. Yeah. Oh, mention Trump hands and Jack goes for it. Um, what was I at? But yeah, I'm not like Ryan Roger, who's studying other content creators to improve on this scope and trying to better what he's trying to aim for. No, I'm basically, there are ideas I've accepted to like my thumbnails, right? To better my thumbnails, to um, maybe try to change things here and there or whatever. But it's mostly just, if the idea sounds good to me, I'll try it and see if it works. But I'm not like huge in depth, like it's gotta be this thing or that thing or whatever. I'm not looking to other creators to um, oh, there you go. Look at that, Neuro. Neuro's on top of it. Man after your own heart, and maybe your wallet, but we don't talk about that. But it's not. I, the lessons I've learned from watching other content creators is in not to do, where I feel like they're messing up on it, or I feel like it doesn't make sense to you, like the whole 9 people and all that stuff for a panel, or trying to the be hospitable part, that sort of thing. It's just trying to figure it out, not doing a gaming stream. Nothing against you or everyone else who does gaming stream, but just not doing a gaming stream as a mainstay, because I did try that and it didn't plop or grow. But it's just this thing I do that it doesn't. I know it's not the biggest thing. I know it's not the attention grabber, but I know that there's something there that says keep going. And that's a weird thing to me, because when I first started, I didn't know where. And then I found this small little spark, and it's grown to like little comfortable medium fire. And then even through the difficulties, it's still one of those things where it says, like, even if you have that trouble, keep going. There's more down the way. There's more down the line. There are more people, more and more people. Even if 10 tell you no, there's 28 people after that. The drive to keep going, it almost drives me insane, because like, who would put up with this? Who would put up being going out there and do like what they do for insurance companies, right? The cold calls. I don't know if I call it that, to be honest. More like cold DMs or something like that, or cold reply posts.
But it
or whatever.
is, that's the technical name for it. It's cold calling, where you're putting yourself out there to all these people, and they don't know you from Adam, and you're saying, hey, would you like to come on my show? This is the format of the show. You're like, it's people are like, where's this guy fucking calling on me? It's like, oh, not another Jehovah's Witness. No, we're not in today, thanks.
Would you like a gift? It's called the Holy Spirit. Get out. No, it's just, I can't, once here, I can't just stop. I mean, I can't give up on it, because it keeps showing me time and time again how important it is, not only for this format, but reaching out across the oh, look at that. There you go. Look at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much.
Now he's going to ask for $1 and says, can I have more?
Please, sir, can I have some more?
I'll look a $2. Can someone give me a $2? $2?
You're like a terrible fucking, what's her name? Fucking Ming Lee from Full Metal Jacket, but the British version. You've already given me $1. Could I have $2? $2. Sucky, soldier boy.
All right, he's going right over there, right? He's trying to go right on there, and he's trying to bubble up, right?
You always do an Australian accent.
That's not an Australian accent.
That was Australian, mate.
It was a mix.
Always do an Australian.
It was a mix between English. It was a mix between.
It wasn't, mate.
I
tell you this every single time you try and do a British accent. It's not British. You're not even close.
Whatever. Whatever.
And I tell it you because it disheartens you so much. And I want it to dishearten you because I want you to better it. I want you to come on this show. I want to come on this show and I want you to do that fucking accent and blow me away. I want to think that I'm talking to another British person when you do that accent, not some Australian.
Right, it's right in the crack. I see he's right. Oh.
You see, you keep doing Australian.
Mother trucker. Yeah, again, that's I understand that too. I've had that issue, not recently, but in the past before. But that's why I'm doing my Rumble Squared, is to collect that
What's
kind of.
going on with that then? What's the
It
ranting issue?
Neurodivergent has been having issues with his card working on here to pay for rants and gifted subs. I had that happen back
Ah,
towards the end of December, and I got no response for it. But again, that's why I'm doing my Rumble Squared and my survey thing, is to, my thing with that, and I get it, right? Rumble's not up to par to like Twitch or YouTube, and that's understandable because it's not Twitch or YouTube. It doesn't have that kind of backing. It doesn't have Amazon or not Apple, Google backing it. The point of the matter is I'm trying to do this thing where, yes, there have been people who do a roundtable, but there have not been people who do a roundtable of sorts who collect data on a ground floor basis, right? I mean, let me see if I can. No, I don't want to do that. I want to see if I can bring up the last one. Hold on one second. And documents. And where did I put it? Ah, there we are. Nope. I want to do the. Is it this one? Sorry, I'm trying to find the document. There we go. Oh goodness, she's open. There we go. Oh, okay. So a while back, I had Tomby and a bunch of other ones on for the last Rumble Squared, but this is what I'm trying to do with it. Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure you saw the reflection. Here we go. Here we go. So okay, there we go. All right. So that's what I'm trying to do with it, right? This is Rumble Squared. This is getting data on a ground floor level basis. So this is almost like doing that survey thing you see on the street where people come up to you and say, would you like a 2 penny or something like that? You know, they ask for something stupid. But this is sort of me. I better. Where do I? Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Gotta get in there. Go to get in there, right? And so I just do like collection of, so this is the positive section, this is issues and whatnot, and then of course you have wanted features and whatnot. But this is me trying to collect data on a ground floor basis. Like, one of the things I have issue with is Rumbles, that a while back they did a Rumble rundown sort of thing where they're collecting feedback too, but the issue of it is they're not putting out the results of that feedback. I mean, there's a result. You can take results in a different way, like results of like fixing the issues, whatnot. But they're not putting out a sheet or some kind of post, or whatever.
analytical data.
Yeah, and this isn't too analytical, but this is, this isn't even the final form, but it is trying to collect what the majority have issue with, or what the majority would like a wish list type of thing. Feedback, yeah. And I'm trying to find. I mean, not a lot of. Bill Tong wasn't able to sell his interest from you say there's probably close to $1,000. Come on, yeah, no, and that's on Rumble's thing. But again, what I found is that it's probably their processor for Canada, because I heard someone had mentioned that it's probably that processing thing. But that's on them to figure that one out.
What's a biltong, Rand?
Biltong is the king of biltong. Biltong is Australia's beef jerky, basically. Biltong, yeah. Yeah,
South Africa's.
I was just,
biltong is South Africa's beef jerky.
No, Australia's. Oh, South African. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was Australia. That's what it I think was me, but I might have heard it wrong. So
it's because I've put the idea of being Australian in your head now, because you keep doing that Australian accent.
Whatever, Mike. Remember when I mentioned Stranger Bug grants are still priced, but there are new gifted some pure pounds. Yeah, it's again me trying to collect this basic data, and again after going back to the Rumble rundown thing, they didn't put out a sheet saying, okay, so this is what we got from the show. This is what a big chunk of people wanted. And all this. They weren't putting that out. They weren't putting something of physical feasibility out. And this is me on my try to do it, right? Yep. But again, the point of the matter is, though, is that there were people already doing a round table of sorts or something like that, but they're not collecting data. They're not getting something on physical point to where one part of it, or I take the raw data and I translate it in two different areas. One is for the tech team and all that stuff to kind of understand at Rumble. Hey, these are the majority points and all that stuff. I send it over them so they have an understandability because they're tech people, right? They're code
Mhm.
people. They understand a certain way. The other part of that is taking that raw data and translating it into for people who may not understand the tech side very well or all that stuff. It's about putting it in an understandable way for the everyday man, basically.
Yeah.
So we have two different sections based off the same data, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. That's the transparency factor that I think is a lot missing for the Rumble side because they're not putting something out after they get that feedback, right? There needs to be something. And so a while back, I'm going to get out of that and I'm going to.
I don't. That one suggestion. I don't know how they're going to solve the zero latency issue unless they've got some like really, really, really super high, internet speed. You can't get zero latency. There's always going to be some latency.
Well, even worse with satellite. So there's that too.
But either way, it's the speed of light is finite, and so it's still got to travel over a certain amount of distance, and you're still going to get latency.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to bring up the document I'm working in now. Is this the one? No. Office pages. There we go. I think this is the one. Because I have
Office peaches.
so
Wow, if we had those at my old workplace, I'd have never left.
getting charged as yeah, I understand. Probably to be different next year, probably. But so no, I found out that you can use a word suite for free on the online part. Like it's not on your computer, it's on the online part, which for me works pretty well. But
Mhm.
you can use there are different. You can use Excel, you can use Word, you can use all the different things with it. So now that I'm able to use that, I'm not using Proton Docs anymore because that's where that old form was. So right now. And I want to make sure. Okay, so there are no names here. So there are some names, but I'm going to stay away from that side.
I
There,
was using Google Docs because while it didn't have the same functionality as Excel and Word, like because me personally, I like the Visual Basic element of
yeah,
Excel and Word, so I like to be able to build my own programs and macros in the back. But Google Docs, for example, does include a very good voice to text,
oh yeah,
dictator. So no, I'm being
yeah.
serious.
No,
It's got a good voice to text dictator, so I was able to just say what I wanted to say, and it would put it on the screen for me without
I
having to type anything. Wonderful.
I bet you love to dictate like you always do.
I love the dictators.
Well, not that, just to dictate because you need somebody to slash about with those whip chains. But anyway, so this is me. So this is part of a survey I put out because there's another portion of uh, Word or whatever that they have is called forms. We can put out surveys, quiz, and all this stuff. So this is me putting out a survey a while back that people have probably seen posted on Twitter X, whatever. But this is me taking up a survey, and I already have at least 44 different people giving their 45. 45. So I have about 45 people so far who have been giving their feedback on the issues they see of Rumble and all sorts of stuff. Now, beforehand, I was using Proton Docs and I was trying to figure out, okay, so how can I do this and all that stuff? And then I was like, I can use the Windows Suite online for free because Lord knows it's like 100 and something bucks. It's like almost $200 to even pay for like a one-time ordeal. But I can use this thing for free. I can get all this stuff down, and with forms, and automatically translating into Excel the way it does, I'm like,
Mhm.
so I have something here, so I can do more with the survey stuff, which is where I wanted to take that data. Because after this is done, which is Friday midnight my time, this data will be sort of read through. I'll keep away from because some people put their name and stuff, so I do want to keep away from that. But like trying to go through, find the commonalities. What are the common issues people are having? What's the big loud voice of it, and so many other stuff. And so I can go through here. I can look, and of course I'll use AI to help with. But I mean, there's so much that's here for 45. I didn't think I'd even get up to 2, right? And I'm trying to do this thing, something that's not coming from Rumble. I don't have to look at it as like a detriment. I can look at it as a opportunity for me. Because remember, when we're talking about monopoly, right? Monopoly, free parking, all that stuff. This is free money lying on the floor. No one else, as far as I know, is doing this kind of thing for a roundtable. And yes, I don't have to do it at all. There's no reason for me to do this. And yet I do, because I understand the frustration. I understand the anger. I can understand those bits and pieces there. And this is one way of trying to direct that energy instead of getting angry.
What's the end goal though? Where is this going to? Like all this data that you're collecting, are you sending it to Rumble?
Yes, I send again,
Okay.
like I was saying earlier. I take the raw data, that one singular point. I translate that portion part of what the big commonality, wish list, issue stuff. I translate that for their techs and devs to understand for them, and I send it over to them. Then, as I said, the other part gets translated for the everyday man, right? So that, because some people may not understand what an API is or whatever, they just understand, people just use YouTube and say, oh, this thing works, and they don't think about the deeper stuff at the end point. So I try to take,
So let me just,
yeah,
because I'm trying to clarify it in my head.
yes, sir.
Is it being sent out to the like Rumble Tech team and to the general public, or are you trying to do like a technical breakdown for the tech team and then like an executive summary for the people who are running Rumble?
I think yes to both ends, because I do try to translate it in a way for the tech team to so it, because it kind of filters out the emotional aspect, because a lot of people are probably written down like their frustration and anger and all that stuff, and so it kind of filters out that emotional aspect, but it does get translated into that techie sort of stuff so that they understand, right? Because again, they're troubleshooters, they're problem solvers. They need they need as much detail as possible. Otherwise, if you're
Without all the emotional shit.
well, and if someone just says the UI sucks, that's not really going to solve anything.
Yeah.
Because how do you know? Okay, so what of the UI?
How does it suck?
How
what
does it
do you
suck?
want in the UI to change?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And so I do that, but again I also do the transparency factor where I'm showing everyone because I post this on Twitter X. So if you were to go to my profile right now, you would see the previous Rumble Square data put up there. Now it's not as, again, it's the summary thing like you were talking about. It's just the summary of it all. But you'll see it pinned on my profile there, and that's from the last one. That shows what the participants came up. That's the one with Tommy in it and so many others. That's the one where we came up. Where is this page again? Oh no, this one isn't out. The page I'm showing is not out. That is still part of the survey. Well, I should probably get the survey thing. Hold on. I will post the link to the survey. Give me 1 second. I apologize. That is to, I think it's this one. Nope, that's the same page. Oh, criminy, I couldn't get that right. There we go. Okay. So this is the link to the, hold on. This is a link to the survey. And this will be posted both on Rumble and YouTube. You go to that link, you'll press it, it'll take you to a survey, and basically the survey is asking three positives, 3 technical issues, and 3 wish list items, and then some optional stuff of like what extra add-ons, like over here. You already see up here, right? This is what it says: any thoughts, feedback, third request, second request, all this stuff. I'll have to change it because this counts as 4 because of how forms is, so I'm gonna have to take one of those off for the next one. But basically it's just trying to do something I'm not seeing come from them, but it's also something I can learn something from too, and how to take data, how to better refine that so you're getting as much detail as possible while also trying to get problem solved. Doing this from someone who's never done data analysis, I'm doing this from someone who's using Microsoft on the free point to do this. I'm basically a toddler trying to learn how to walk. But at the end of the day, though, there's something here that I think could be beneficial in the sense of, even if I don't get any response back from Rumble, in a sense, guess what? I've learned a new skill. I've learned something new. I've been transparent. I'll be transparent about the data I'm trying to bring and all this stuff, because at the end of the day, that's the more important part. of what I'm trying to do. And I know some people look at it and say, oh, well, that's not important. Really, you shouldn't do it. But that your time is your time. My time is my time. This is only once a month. Like the survey alone is only going for this week. It's not like I focus solely on this. I have people almost every day. I have Dara's Hangout Den. I have so much other stuff. This is once a month, but it's important enough that there are a lot of people who want to see Rumble look it better. You're going to have a lot of comparisons to YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. Part of the ordeal. But at the end of the day, it's like that free money and free parking. It's there. No one else is doing it to the extent I'm doing it. Why not try and learn something from it? If that just being that.
It's once a month. It's Dara's Lady Week where he Karens to Rumble.
I do not. I use the data rather than use my emotional aspect, because there are some people who do that. Yeah, like Neuro says, we want to see Rumble CC, but they've gotta start showing at least what's being taken down. The Rumble rundown thing was nice, but the problem of it is they didn't show what was caught for their data. They weren't, and they're a company, they don't have to do that, right? I don't think any company has to do that to some degree. But for me, it's just like, well, I can do this thing, even if I barely know how to do it. And I can learn something from it. Maybe I can make maybe a bridge could be made out of it to kind of have that two-way conversation. If not, I learned something from it.
I don't see many other content creators either doing what you're doing. Like, in fact, I don't see any other content creators doing what you're doing in that regard. Like you say, they don't have to listen, but you don't have to collect any of this data anyway. Not your job to make their platform better, but at least you're like the feet on the ground, like the reporter on the scene. You're the man on the street sort of thing. You're asking the actual core people who are keeping the platform alive. What would they like to see? You know, what do they want? What do they think is wrong with the platform? And you're sending it to them. I don't see Rumble putting out surveys saying, you know, what would you like to see? What do you think we could do better? Yeah, but it's like once you're doing it once a month.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't use, this is the forms from Microsoft thing is recent. I've just started using that. It makes it so much easier, especially when it could translate to Excel. It makes it so much easier. But the thing of it is like that's also part of like over time. More and more. I'm hoping over time more and more people will take the survey, because right now it's only at 45 people. It's a numbers game, which I don't like putting that out there, because I don't play by the numbers game. The only numbers game I'll play is like I'd like to have 200 different guests on is my milestone. That's the one I'm focused on. The followers, it's great, all this stuff. Having 600 followers doesn't equate to 600 views. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, right. So you could do it in a different way. You could ask different questions that collect statistics, and then it really doesn't matter how many people you have on, because they do that in the media all the time. They'll say, oh, well, 21% of Americans think and 41% of Americans think. And realistically, it was just a survey of 1,000 people. Yeah. And out of 1,000 people, 21% said this, 31% said that. So it doesn't matter then, in that case, how many people you have answer the survey, because then you can put it into percentage statistics and send it to them and say, well, I did a survey and X percentage of people who I surveyed said that they wanted this. X percentage of the survey said this.
Yeah.
And I can help you with that, actually, because I actually do statistical analysis and stuff like that. So I can actually help you with the questions and stuff like that.
Well, you already saw some of them. Up the top, because they have to be one point of the matter is that they have to be a detailed question. You have to ask the details, because they need, okay, what if you're using the app, what app? Is it the TV? Is it the mobile? What is it? Okay, so if you're on mobile, what phone do you have? Is it Android, iPhone? If it's on iPhone, what type is it? It's 14.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It can be formed in the sense of, because some of them might be using all of those platforms all at the same time. Do you get what I mean? They might be using mobile and desktop all at the same time.
Yeah,
and it can be worded in such a way that it still collects that data, and rather than doing it separately, you just have that as a question
Yeah.
that you ask, and you can then combine it with the other questions as well.
Yeah, and I definitely need to take at least one of those rows off because it was asking for 3 instead of like 4 because how forms is situated and whatnot. The survey ends Friday at midnight my time, so the 21st at midnight Eastern. So there's that. Um, but anyway, I gotta use the restroom real quick. So you're in charge. I'll be right back. Oh, all right. Just I don't know.
Look at me.
Yeah, he's the
Look at
captain
me.
now. He's the
I am
captain
the
now.
captain now.
I'll be right back.
Right, so since I'm on the big camera again, I can bring this forward. You see, look at that, folks. That's it. But come a little closer. Now that he's gone, right, we can talk about him. So what do you actually think about the show that he's doing, guys? You can tell me in the chat. I won't tell anyone. I promise you. I won't tell anyone what you've said. But how do we feel about Dara's show so far? I mean, do you think he's doing a good job? Do you think it's worth doing what he's doing? I mean, I do for one. I think it's a great thing that he's doing. He's reaching out to all these different people, bringing people together. It's this is why I keep coming back on the show. I'm like the 12th. This is my 12th time. That's why it says 12th chapter of Chaos. And I love the format, and that's why I keep coming back to it, because it's just this meandering conversation. Exactly, neurodivergent. I appreciate the initiative. I can't highlight your chat. I don't have the ability to highlight your chat. Sorry, but yeah, the simple fact that he's going out there and he's taking the initiative, and he's pushing Rumble so much, and I think it's important to do that because YouTube are always back.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't tell him what we were talking about.
You have the ability to pin now if you want to try it. All you have to do is click on the comment you want to pin.
Wait, what? Have you been to the toilet or not?
Yeah, I only need to do number 1. I only need to. It's what happens when you drink a lot of water. No, so if you want to, so you've been promoted to moderator, it means you can click on you can click on a chat piece, and it can show up. So if you want to try that,
you get a ban. And
no,
you get a ban.
You can't.
And you get a ban.
You can't ban. you can't ban from here. But no, I mean, again, it's seeing, like you were talking about, it's seeing that thing like with Darachat. It's seeing that thing where you don't really see a lot of people doing it. Again, there could be someone out there, I'm not saying, but there's so many content creators out there. It's ridiculous. So I don't know, but I can't not to say, oh, well, let's just try it and see, because you never know where it'll go. And I'm trying to do this thing where I'm not a data analyst. I don't know how to ask the right question. I do use AI to help, but I don't know the right questions to ask to at least get the most amount of detail. And and again, that's why I know so many people, because like you said, you know something a little about that. And that helps in the process of so it's sort of like a blacksmith, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a very beginner blacksmith, sort of knows a bit of the ropes, but the sword they keep bringing out is twisted, turned. It's not refined. Over time, though, through people, through other things, that knowledge gets refined, and the questions get better, and the ability to get more data gets better. So right now, I'm working on, like, I don't know what I would call it, like a small process of someone who doesn't know this sort of thing, a data analysis. I come across someone like you, come across someone like Tomby for the tech stuff. You'll be able to combine that. There's more power in that and refining the sword than there is in just, trying to be a guppy swimming out of water. That's, again, that's what Darachat can lead to as well. It's a
You're not a proper blacksmith unless you can start a fire with a cold piece of steel.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to work for me. So, but I mean,
Well, would you like to know what I mean by that?
Sure, why not?
So they take a thin, cold piece of steel like a nail, and they put it on the anvil, and they hammer it and hammer it and hammer it, and as they hammer it, it heats up and heats up and heats up, and then they touch it to a piece of paper, and the paper lights.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Ah, there you go. You see.
I'll learn
You're
something
not a
new.
proper blacksmith until you can start a fire with a cold piece of steel.
Well, thank goodness I'm not trying to start fires with that. But so here's the part. Here's the forms faction, right? This is forms. This is Microsoft's thing, and this is sort of the questions I've said ask, right? So I asked this one, creator, viewer, both interested in joining, because you kind of need to know what the person is. Is they a viewer, both, creator, and of course the username is optional. And these are now the thing of this is that I probably should just made this the first one and then second and third and kept that one out, but I'm not going to change it now. Save it for the next one. Then I do this technical or support issues on Rumble, and then platform improvements wish list, and then additional comments. And then, of course, I do say I'm not paid by Rumble. I'm not affiliated with Rumble. This is ground floor community initiative. This is not nothing that has anything to do with Rumble at all, just the platform. But this is how I have the thing set up. And then, of course, with forms, they show you like the responses, right? 44, time, and all that stuff, right? Which is nice. I do like this. They give you all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm just not that in depth. So, but again, I'm close to 50. Even if I just get 50, that'll be enough, and I could start having a better refinement. But I don't. There's just some things I don't know how to better on. So that's where I'm kind of stuck at. And I do talk to other people who may have help, but yeah.
Well, like I said, if you want any help with formulating the questions, don't hesitate to call on me.
Well, you're right here now.
Data analysis and statistical analysis. Oh, come on, mate. I mean, like, we got like about half an hour before I've got to get off, and we're not going to be able to go. Yeah, we can take it off.
Well,
offline.
I mean, we'll just start with the first one then. Would that be a great way of starting out? Asking if they're a creator, viewer, both, or interested in joining. Is that a good way to start it as?
Well, like I said, we'd have to sit down and talk about it, because I don't know what the target of the survey is. You've got to have a very specific target of what the survey that you're sent, and you may need to send out multiple surveys about different things. Do you get what I mean? So you need to figure out what the end goal of the data of the survey is that you're creating. So it could be a very good question to start with. Are you a viewer? But the problem is, because it's multiple choice, you might need to change them from radio boxes to check boxes, because they might be a viewer and a streamer. Do you get what I mean?
Both is on there. The option for both is on there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good then. So taking it from that, it could be a good starting point. But it depends on what the actual end goal is. You may only want to target viewers, and you may only want to target and the interested in joining it. That doesn't really make a difference. If you're interested in joining, that's a completely different thing altogether.
Yeah.
So you're either a creator or you're a creator, a viewer, or both. In a separate question, I am interested in joining, yes or no.
Okay, and you'd put that separately. So I'd probably
completely separately.
I'll probably just leave it in for right now. But I mean, again, I do have to put the important note: not initiative, not affiliated with, endorsed by Rumble. Yeah. But no, I mean, that's the great thing about having at least someone who knows how to go about it and stuff like that. Because I mean, I could just have those three, and this would be a separate one, just like having, if they want to put in their username, because that helps. And like, you don't want to out people. I'm not in this to out people. It's sort of just like having that as like the numbers game to say, hey, this certain amount of people under whatever. Yeah, no, and he's coming on for this Saturday too.
So one of the things about capturing people's usernames, you don't necessarily need to display those in the results. Okay. You can just use that as a feedback point for you. So you can then go back to the respondents and say, if you want a little bit more in-depth sort of communication from them or a bit more information from them, you can go back to them, but you don't necessarily need to display that information in the results of the
and I won't.
The survey.
Yeah, because the Excel sheet is where all the stuff is going to, and I can hide that easily within the tabs. It's just. Yeah, definitely will have to find.
I mean, it may be worth also. It's optional and not shared in the results, because that might put people off.
Yes,
they're like thinking to themselves, "Oh, well, I won't share my username because it might be shared in the results." It doesn't say that. It doesn't explicitly say that it's not. So I better, I'm not going to do that. And it's like if you ask for their email, then you're going to be. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, you're into a completely different realm of GDPR and stuff. Then you've got to store their details securely and all that kind of stuff.
No, definitely, and I'll put that in for next time. Like, I don't share it, and when I do the data stuff, it will be hidden so that Rumble themselves won't know, because I do want people to be able to trust me in the survey and say you will remain anonymous. It's just for me. I won't use it against you. I'm not going to at all, and I don't want people thinking that they're going to be able to see it. No, the
exactly.
names, the username thing is strictly for me only. It will be hidden from Rumble. They'll be given a raw piece, but it won't have the names with it. So that's what I'm going to keep out. And there's no emails. I'm not collecting emails or whatever, but I'm just trying to refine the process, trying to get as much detail as possible, because they are tech people. They and when they troubleshoot, they need as much detail as possible. So that's the aim of it. And then when you say what's the end goal, my thing has always been just to help improve the platform, or at least try to get the venting part of the people, and then show, hey, and then put it on Twitter X, right? The big public square, we're gonna call it. So that way when people see it, they'll be like, okay, this amount of people just said the majority of it just wants this thing taken care of, a few things taken care of. So why, you can go to Rumble and say, why aren't you doing anything about it? They can use that data to help. Yeah, sorry.
So what I would say is that if you've got one survey that is just asking for feedback on what you would want to see, positives, negatives, that kind of thing, where they get to type out their own answers.
Yes.
That is one thing. And then from those surveys, the answers that you get from those surveys, you can then break it down into a completely different survey that asks specific questions about certain areas of the sort of the platform itself. When you've been using Rumble, have you experienced, like, if someone says, oh, we've been experiencing like lag on a regular basis, I'd like that to be fixed. What you could do then is go away and ask a completely different survey, things that are associated with the streaming experience. When you've been using Rumble, have you experienced lag? Yes or no? What kind of lag have you experienced? What is usually the the time of of the lag? Do you get what I mean? You can break the feedback down into more specific surveys that give more specific data. And that's what I was saying about, you can go back to Rumble then and say, like, 20% of the respondents or 100% of the respondents say they are consistently experiencing lag. Only 21% of these say that it's like a 2-minute lag. Only not 90% of them are saying, or 80% of them are saying that it's less than 30 seconds. All that kind of stuff. That's important data for them to know.
Yeah. Well, and I can see where you're. I see what you're stating on. My thing is I'm more general on the basis of where I'm going for, and you're trying, like, okay, so refine that down to more and more. And that's, like, I can get why you see you're gonna have to throw out multiple surveys, which is gonna be a lot more work. But I this will be
Not
the
really.
So this one upcoming is going to be the third one, right? So whatever data collect is that I can take for. Now this hasn't been strictly consistent because I did have computer issues in December, and so I really couldn't do it then, so I did miss a month. But at the end of it, I will take those three pieces. The first one, the one with Tommy and all that stuff, and I'll try to um, use AI to kind of help compile and all this stuff, and then kind of go for like showing over 3 months, like this is what the majority over time has been a steady thing that has not been changed, whatever. Because you need that, right? You need the
Absolutely.
I don't know what they call that, consistent issue or something like that. I don't know what that's technically called. Um, but yeah, so
End
by
to
me,
end, perhaps.
what? Oh, end to end.
End to end, yeah.
End to end. Okay. Yeah, and again, I don't know how they're collecting data. I don't know why they're not putting something out for the transparency
Month
factor of
to month.
month to month, that sort of stuff.
I don't know. But end to end is usually like, from one end of the project to the other.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it doesn't. Again, Friday midnight my time. Don't know how many people will get to it, but at the end of it, the numbers will speak for themselves. And again, it'll be about getting more and more numbers because there's millions of people who use Rumble. It's just trying to get more than 100, more than 1,000, stuff like that. Because I don't know, they're not putting out the survey. They've only did that one time I saw, and that was it. And it was a Google form. I'm using Microsoft's thing, and this is a little better. It's like I actually like this a little better because it takes all that stuff that's from the survey and puts that in the Excel sheet. But yeah, no, definitely will. Definitely.
What's the section 2 question?
Section 2 is first is the positive experiences on Rumble, and I gotta change this to like the first one because of just because how this one has an enter your answer, and I can't really figure out just having this thing right here. Again, it's my first time using forms,
Right.
so.
So you could just as a suggestion, from the feedback that you've gotten from the other surveys that you've done, you could identify areas where you could ask yes or no questions, right? Have you had a good experience with this? Yes or no? Have you had a good experience with that? Yes or no? Because people prefer multiple choice answers.
Yes.
They don't like to have to sit there and type a big long fucking essay out of what they would like to see. However, these kinds of questions are usually reserved for maybe the end of the survey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But at the same time, those questions often don't get answered if they've got a choice in answering that question, because they're so fucking worn out by reading through the survey and going through the survey that they're like, oh, I can't be asked to fucking fill the rest of this out. And you've got to keep them engaged, unfortunately. So quick answers that they can just click on. And if you've got like 100 fucking steps to the survey, and they can see that you've got 100 steps, they're like, no, I'm not. That's way too long. So you've got to keep them short surveys, short questions, short answers, and like ask them at the end, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah. Any thoughts or feedback you'd like to share about Rumble? Optional. So I only have like maybe 5 sections plus a 6 just explaining the note section, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, keep it short and sweet. Don't make it long. But again, that will be more having those conversations with you. But no, after this one, the next one we'll have those conversations, because this is the learning curve, right? Like, you learn, okay, you get new information, so you save that for the next one. Because if you try to do it now, it'll just mess things up, and you just might as well finish it off and get it better. But yeah, I can.
You might even want to ask, how enjoyable was this survey?
Yeah.
Was this survey? You want to get feedback on the surveys that you're creating. Was this survey too long? Was it, was it easy to fill out? Those sorts of things.
Yeah, and that'll definitely be helpful. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I already posted the link earlier, so you kind of posted it twice. I'll ask the Friday deadline. Oh, okay. Yeah, just Friday. The Friday at 12 like midnight Eastern time zone, because I know there's different time zones in the US. So just it's set to Eastern time zone. So midnight Eastern time zone. But yeah, definitely will take up that offer because I want to improve this. And yeah, I don't want it to be to the point like I get like you get to the point where like you just don't want to keep doing it because it's not fun or not interesting or whatever. So having that kind of knowledge and your face is back up far against the camera again. This is real time. Uh-oh. Don't talk to a UKer like that. They'll say that's not the case.
Actually.
Actually, yeah, he's moving his glasses. But yeah, it's this it's just the beginning. It can improve over time. There's more room to improve it. And having someone like you and your knowledge can help improve that. Is just taking the time to sit down and do that. And I'll do that within like a weekend or whatever, but certainly, or over small periods of time over the week. But at the end of the day, definitely will use that knowledge because I might as well, right? I've got people I know and all that stuff. And it seems daunting, but if you take it in bites, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But anyway, it is
baby steps, and what's more, just keep it nice and simple because people don't like filling out surveys at the best of times, even when it's a survey that benefits them.
Yeah.
There's a certain, I mean, people make money online by filling out surveys. Yeah. They'll use those free gift survey websites, and they're happy to spend all day filling out those fucking surveys just to get like 20p.
I don't have money.
You know what I mean?
I don't have that money.
But a lot of people, they don't like filling out surveys, and to have to type out a big long ass answer.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the people who have given their stuff, and again, it will be improved for next time, even if it's just small stuff. I mean, even small stuff can be noticeable. It's just getting to that point. But anyway, it is past the 2 hour minute mark, 2 hour mark. So we're gonna start winding it down to end it. And of course, as always, first off, we do our self promotion because it's power hour time, and then we'll get into the other stuff there. So, JackTarLad, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I think it was pinned in the comments a little bit earlier, my link tree, which is also on my Twitter bio. You can find me on Twitter at JackTarLad, and that's the username I use for all of my socials, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, etc. Go and check me out on Thursdays, which is we started a new show at 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. That's 6 o'clock Central. 4 o'clock Central. A brand new show which we started last week called Read and Roll, where I take a fighting fantasy choose your own adventure game book, and I act as the game master, reading the book and editing the adventure sheet, etc., and I invite a guest on to be the weary adventurer. Tomorrow we've got Daramouthe himself. He's going to be our weary adventurer tomorrow, and I'll give him the choice of 3 books. And he can play the game for a couple of hours with us tomorrow night. So please come and check that out. On a Wednesday night, usually I'm on the midweek, the Hump Day Chinwag. I always start with midweek. It's the Hump Day Chinwag on Tomby's channel with Tomby and the crew. And on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, I do my JTL Plays gaming live stream where currently we're doing Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So come and join me on my channel, see my streaming wares, and otherwise I'll be on Twitter shit posting.
Yeah.
And thank you once again, Dara, for inviting me back on the show for my 12th chapter of Chaos.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
It's always a pleasure to be on here, mate. I was saying to the chat whilst you were gone, I wasn't putting you down at all. I
heard some of it.
I always enjoy coming on the show because I love the format. I love the fact that we just go on, we ramble on about everything and anything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's already enough people talking about politics. There's already enough people about the culture war and all this stuff. It gets draining. It gets tiring. Look, I want to say this before we go. Hey, there he is. There's your last guest.
There he is. Hello, mate.
Yeah, there he is. Showing up at the last minute. he's always a minute man too short. But
Incidentally, Abe was our last guest on Read and Roll. If you didn't see that, so please go and check out last Thursday's episode where Abe played House of Hell and died twice, but he did valiantly. He got quite a good way through the book both times.
And the weird thing is, I've gotten to see his face, and whenever he shows his face, it's always a red light shining. So, I mean, technically, he could be in a house of hell. He's just not really saying it. So, there's that.
Well, he's in Zordon's Power Ranger chamber, isn't he?
That's true. Where's my servant? Wash the floors again. It's dirty. Anyway, Bert gets through my thing, and we're not going to get out of here at all. Anyway, if you're on the Rumble side or YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment, or follow, anything that helps the engagement factor is much appreciated. Again, guys, yes, it helps in being seen more, but it's also about having other people on as guests, like JackTarLad, like Abe, like Tomby, like Yarny, like Kadath Gaming, like I haven't had Stasis on yet. That guy's a slippery bunch. He just keeps slipping out of my hands like an eel. But yeah, so I've had so many people, over 130 different guests, and yes, it is Jack's 12th time, but he just can't help himself. He's like that ice skater that I gotta get that triple twirl. I've got to get that triple twirl. And he ends up breaking his ankle and only gets a double. But anyway, any help with any of the engagement on either Rumble or YouTube is much appreciated. And again, I have a link down below. You can check out where my Twitter X is at. I have an email, or my Discord's at, all this stuff. I don't have a server, but it's mostly just for DMing. And of course, if you'd like to take the opportunity to come on yourself, there's a comment section down below, or you can go to the link. You have two options. Either way, the door is open if you want to come on. I do ask that you check your calendar and commitments before you decide to come on, because some people have missed the boat on some things, and they need to, if you're gonna go on someone's show, make sure that time is off. Otherwise, just be polite and say I can't come, or be politely honest. It doesn't hurt if you don't say it in a mean way. People understand. I could tell Jack, like, hey Jack, tomorrow I'm getting a cold. I don't think it can make. I don't think it can make. You're muted.
If you do that, Dara, I will come to your house with a plate of cookies in my hand. You know what that means.
There better be chocolate chip, or it's not worth it.
Oh, there's going to be some chipping, all right.
It's gonna be with, like, what's that one? What's that one poison?
You got arsenic, strychnine,
arsenic. Yeah, arsenic.
Cyanide.
Probably with arsenic.
Blaze.
Yeah, you came way too late. Luckily for you, Jack helped you the rest of the way. Done. Should be going out to 8. Hey, you know what? Any help helps, Nero. Any helps help. The more numbers I can get, the better the data collection, as the analyst would say, or some would say analyst, but I'm not going to go there. I can't leave. Yes,
I'm an analyst.
You sound like what's that one? Oh my gosh!
Mort.
Mort
from American Dad.
No, it's Family Guy.
No, Mort is from American. Oh yes. No, my apologies. Yes, Mort is from Family Guy.
Already getting feedback from people that complete serve. Thank you so much. Thank you, no, I appreciate it. And if Viva ever puts himself into it, look, I won't share the names, but I will share the data. I will try to make sure no one's names, because actually, no, before I go, I do want to share something that I saw that did kind of make me want to bring it up. It'll be quick. What is the document? Is it that one? There we go. Okay, so there was someone who filled this out. Here we go. And so I just kind of, this is on rubber. Oh, thank you. I don't care where it is.
Wow.
I don't know who he is, but thank you. So I want to show this because when I saw this, I was like, okay, maybe there may be some people like that, but I just want to read it. So here it is. It's at the very end here. And they were saying, like, so they didn't give their name, but I'll just read it out. I don't know who it is. They didn't give their name in the survey, but here it is. Honestly, I'm not sure if any of this will be read or if this survey was a huge waste of my time. Hopefully not. If the site is asking for feedback, and it's me, not the site, and I do try to say, I do just say I'm not affiliated with Rumble, so there's that. I'm trusting it'll actually read it. But from what I've seen of Rumble, you have to be a bigger streamer, and this is from their perspective, in order to have any of your concerns addressed, or you have to kiss up to a Rumble employee. I've been on the platform for over 2 years, and it's a pattern of. Hold on, I can. Okay. It's I've been on the platform over 2 years, and it's a pattern I've seen repeated consistently. I find it very unprofessional and problematic at best, and I've seen it stunt the website's growth reach or turn people away from using it at worst. I like this website. I like the community it has. I want to keep using it, but I fear that honest feedback results in being silently blacklisted, as I've seen happen a handful of times uh, before, I guess, or it's simply ignored in favor of more prominent voices and doing things to please them. It's very odd, to be frank, and extremely discouraging because, as I said, I overall like this website and I like using it, and I like the majority of its user base as well as the creators here. But even now, as I type this, I worry that I might end up on that secret blacklist, which is why I've left my account name off the survey. Truthfully, the one thing that had me fill this out was vain hope. And for me, I appreciate that. Whoever that person is, if you see that, I appreciate that. And don't worry, I won't let that. I mean, I can only go do as much as I can, but I won't. Um, I think that's wrong. If that has happened, I do think that's wrong of any platform, really. But I saw that, and I just had to read that because that's the way the person felt. That's the way the person felt, and I wanted to be able to read it because people need to understand there's probably people who feel like that. They feel like you have to be big enough to get heard. You have to be willing to kiss butt in order to get something taken care of or whatnot. I don't know how true it is, but I'm going to take it at its face value because they did. They took their time to write that down. You see how long that is, right? Like I left the long answer open. You see how long they went to do it. So there is something of value there that that they put in. And so why not read it? Why not say, hey, look, this individual, whoever they are, if they see this, not thank you. They feel that if they give honest feedback, they're going to feel like they're being blacklisted. They're going to feel they're going to get ruined or whatever. And they left their name out. And the thing.
But there again, going back to what I was saying before, you want to add that to your survey to say this: your username is not shared with Rumble. It's not shared with anybody else. It's just for me, for my data point collecting, so that I can come back to you if I want to get any further input from you. Okay. So you just need to put that on that question in a certain way, because this person, although it wasn't like a data protection sort of, they wanted to secure their data or whatever, they were afraid that Rumble were going to penalize them just for having an honest opinion.
And I can imagine that there's some, I can't say I know because I don't know, but this one person, I imagine there are a few others who are like that. And for me, that's another reason why to do this, because if that is a true case, which I don't know, this is just allegedly through the one person. So
it's an anecdote.
It's an anecdote. This should not be the case. You should not feel like you have to be treated like your YouTube in essence, or otherwise, if it is the case, right? Again, I'm going based off what someone said, and I want to be able to protect that sort of thing, but I also want to be able to share it so that if there are people that are like that, if there are people that feel like that, guess what? There's already one person who does. And now people have the ability to say, I kind of feel like that too, while remaining anonymous enough. I'll know it. I'll know the names, but Rumble itself won't know it. They're not even doing surveys as far as I know anyway, but they won't know the username. I will. And that's where that will stay. Now, obviously I will change it. I'll just put like it's the name is not shared with Rumble. I think that's what I'll have to put it as right now, because there's like 2 days left. But again, this right here, that's in the green right here. This is one of the reasons why I do it, because I want people to be able, just like with Darachat, I want people to be open enough and free enough to give the honest feedback, harsh or not. I want to be able to give that honest feedback, so that way they're not afraid of, oh, if I say this thing, they'll do whatever or however it is, because that's when you know if it's one person, whatever. But if there are more people that feel that way, and you do an anonymous survey, at least for for the Rumbles, and I'll see the usernames, that goes to show you that while they may use the platform, they're afraid to give the honest feedback that's needed for the platform to grow, and that is wrong. That is so very wrong, and it stunts growth, just like he said. So that's also another reason why I'm doing it. So, with hopefully through over time, with your help, Jack, I can refine that stuff and get it better, because at the end of the day, better question taking, better. See, now people are asking about the project. Just send them my Twitter X and show them, have them see like the pin profile and see like the last. I mean, I think that would be the best way to do it, is just see the pin profile of the last one.
Yeah, the pin tweet.
Yeah, the pin tweet on Twitter X. Just say, hey, look, go to his profile page. There's a pin tweet. Just look at that. That's sort of what he's trying to go for. It's not perfect. It's not like top tier business stuff, but this is ground floor stuff, and that's where almost a majority of the action is happening. It's not the top ends with the CEOs. Thank you, Neuro.
And it's not just that as well. If they're asking about like the whole Rumble Squared project as well, get them to get in touch with Dara, because they may be able to come on Darachat for a quick chat. Because like you said, not that it is a vetting thing, but it's nice to know who you're talking to and who you're bringing on the Rumble Squared chat. Yeah. So if they want to get involved in that project as well, then perhaps they'd be interested in that.
Yeah, and because Rumble Squared, I'm trying to get 7 guests total on. And then, of course, I have an Excel sheet separately from that one that you saw. That will be about taking down that data and maybe some of the chats too. But the survey thing will be an all-week thing leading up to the actual Rumble Squared. Because at the end of the day, the numbers and the evidence are what's going to do the bigger chunk of the work. Not the emotional aspect, not the anger, not the frustration, which I get. But you want to play it, you want to put it in the game that they're playing. They're worried about numbers. They're worried about all this stuff. Guess what? I'll play that game too in the professional way possible, and with people who know that better and all that stuff. I will play that game, and guess what? I will have the numbers do the work. I will have the words do the work, because the people will have their stuff seen, not the name, but the data seen, and finally they'll get to say, you know what? Transparently, we're seeing it get heard. That's what people want. That's what people feel like they're not getting done from any of these platforms, right? You look at YouTube. Guess what happens when you're demonetized? You get a sort of robotic response. Twitch, probably not the same either. Rumble is on that. It's a business right off the bat. They need money. I still don't have an account. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Well, not 1 second. I'm not that fast. I'm not that fast. I am not the quickest gunner in the West. Okay, hold on. Okay, and because I gotta do the whole 2FT. Is it 2FA? That's right.
Okay. So is it the pinned comment on your? What's
yes.
It's the one that says Rumble Square Session Report Jan 25th. Yes. 2025. Yes. Okay, I got it.
25th. Because this is February. So if you want to put it into it'll probably just put it to private, but I'll be able to copy paste and put it for all.
I'm just going to put it in the YouTube chat now.
Okay, and don't forget to give me the link so I can post it for the Rumble side too, because Neuro needs it. Whenever you're. I got it. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. This is to the last Rumble Squared, the summary data. So this is for the everyday man sort of thing. I'll post it just for the Rumble since you did that for YouTube. Okay. There we go. Okay. So Neuro, that's the link. Have them go there. That'll be the summary of the last one for the everyday man to understand. I know there may be some people who may understand tech side stuff more, but this is for everyday people, right? So it's done in an easy way to, or at least somewhat understandable way. But there's that. Again, the survey right now doesn't end until Friday at midnight at on Eastern time zone, and there'll be that. And of course, over time, this will improve. I will at least working with some people, at least with Jack, trying to get this a better down to format, because even improving a little bit can go a long way. It's always about starting with the pebbles to work on the boulders, and that's where we're at.
Every day is a school day.
Oh gosh, I don't. Daramouthe, yes, that's the name of the yes. Not that's it's there called Daramouthe's Corner, but my last account on Twitter X got suspended for no reason. I didn't get a reason, so
there's this lovely chap who decided to make their own account, and it's got nothing to do with you, and you're not ban evading at all.
Look, Jack, it's yeah. I don't know who this guy is. It's just one of those things. I mean, I think you were on the first one. I have no idea who this guy is. No, he's probably family or some kind of ghost. Nothing. But yes, that's where they're at.
A great fan doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. But anyway, that is the end of the show because Jack does need to get going. He's in the UK, so he's got to be ready for me tomorrow, right? I don't have to be worried about being ready for him. He's got to be ready for me. He already knows how I work.
Damn right.
Look, I'm going to ride this horse all the way into town. I'm going to be calling the
Sounds
British
like
here.
I need to lube myself up.
I'm going to be saying that the British are here. I'm going to be that kind of Paul Revere. So watch out for
you're not going to be saying the British are here. I'm going to be shouting the Yankees are here.
Oh, okay. Now you just got to make it Anyway, guys, that is the end of the show. Of course. Oh, that's right. I'm not even at the other part yet. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be having a gentleman by the name of Darachat on tomorrow. So I hope you'll be able to be there for that. And of course, the last thing I'm going to do. What is it, Jack? You know what it is. What's the last thing I do on my show?
It's the song.
No.
One day.
It's the
it's the Hat of Doom.
Oh, god dang it.
It's the Hat of Doom. I forgot about the Hat of Doom.
I'm back. Yeah.
Are you back?
Yeah. Something happened.
I'm front.
Something happened to you of similar value. Just refresh the page and we'll be back. So anyway, questions from Hat.
The Hat of Doom.
Yes. So what happens is that I'm not monetizing YouTube. So anyone on YouTube, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to get any super chats. Just as it is. But if you're in Rumble, guess what? You can give a Rumble rant to have more than the 2 pulled out. And the longest one I've gotten is 22 questions pulled from that. More than just like 20 because of the 2 freebies, but 22 questions total. So if you want to have more than the 2 pulled and make Jack's night a living nightmare, there you go. But anyway,
my knife is a living nightmare.
Right in the back. Anyway, here's the first one. And let's see what it says.
Why are you gay?
Oh yeah, I remember Abe's questionnaire for that one. Thanks, Abe. What's a movie or... Yeah, just refresh, you'll be fine. Just refresh the page. There we go. I did. Yeah. Okay. What's a movie or book that changed the way you look at everyday things? Everyday things. What's a movie or book?
The Wall by Pink Floyd. That movie completely just I loved. I listened to the. Can you actually hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd obviously listened to the soundtrack way before I'd seen the movie, but I was at a point in my life where things were really fucking weird, and I watched The Wall, and it made me, because it's essentially a movie about childhood troubles and losing people at an early age, having trouble forming relationships with family and friends and keeping them outside of your wall, so to speak, and it sort of helped me to bring people closer to me and formulate relationships in a better way.
It's not the we don't need no.
It's that's part of the soundtrack. Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember how that song goes. I just know, hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. That sort of stuff. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty close.
Yeah. Except it was in British, not Australian.
Oh, thank you very much, right? But anyway, you know Americans do that old Cockney like, oh right, governor, right? They
Yeah,
do
like they're
that.
fucking Van Dyke from Mary Poppins.
Hey, Mary Poppins, right here, step into him, step. You gotta, if you at least learn a little bit, you can listen to like, I mean, there's like the Stoke-on-Trent accent, the Welsh accent. Oh, thank you for that. Hey, dashboard,
The Brummy accent.
Brummie accent,
Yeah.
Lancashire, what,
Yeah,
Yorkshire,
Lancashire, Yorkshire.
Liverpool, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, dashboard,
Scouse,
guys.
Cockney,
Now,
Cornish,
and Michael Caine is Cockney, so there's that.
Mortal Cane.
You're at the very end, Dash. We're kind of at the last very point of this. So, question number 2.
Zulus, thousands of them. Wait till you see the whites of their eyes, lads.
Raw, but what's the God dang it. What's the
You
childhood
were
memory?
only supposed to blow her bloody back doors in.
I like when you see The Trip by Stephen Dugan and Rob Dearden, and they try to do their Michael Caine. She was only 16. She was only 16. I don't
Yeah,
want
where
to.
they're going on about like where because the younger Michael Caine, he
Yeah.
got a much and then like the older Michael Caine where he's had a few cigars and a
Yeah.
few more brandy.
Or
You
the
can hear
yeah,
you
Or
can
you-
hear that he's been through some
Yeah.
trauma.
or the Batman. I don't want to marry another Batman. That's pretty good. Anyway, last question. If no one gives a rant, what's a childhood memory that still makes you smile?
I remember this once. I bashed a hamster's head in with a mallet. Oh, and it turned red almost instantly, and I was just like, this is great. This is give me another hamster. Where can I find another? No, I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. Dark humor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I got. Okay, hold on.
A childhood memory that still makes me smile. When when I went on holiday I went on holiday down south to Cornwall somewhere with my brother and my father and his new wife, and she slipped on her ass, and I just laughed. I laughed out loud, and even to this day, she didn't find it funny at the time.
Right.
But I'm sure she finds it funny now. But I found it funny at the time, and I still find it funny now.
Sometimes you gotta laugh at someone slipping on their behind, or as the English say, that arsehole. But
The
anyway,
arsehole, yeah.
right, it's sort of like that thing from Hot Fuzz. Did you see his arse? Hey, minute.
Well, the
Yeah,
Irish have got a different accent, of course, and they pronounce the R's a little bit more. But
Oh, yeah.
like me being from Birmingham, I say arsehole.
yeah. You've got
But
the
someone from Liverpool, would say arsehole.
falls and farts will always be funny. That's true. Toilet humor is always funny. Like when you see someone drop big deuce and it looks like a log, that's when you know it's gonna be a good day.
Someone farts or someone makes a fart sound, people giggle.
Yeah, it's true.
It's that simple.
Unless you're like in the car and they can't roll down the window and it's like,
Even then, you're cringing and you're like, oh, but you're still sort of like, you're still laughing a bit. You're still like, oh, you bastard! Like you got us good.
yeah,
You smelly fat bastard.
I
Unless they keep doing it.
want it in my belly. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I better stop the show before we get in trouble. Anyway, see you. Of course, first off,
I got a crap on board that could choke a donkey. But seriously, I got a turtle's head poking out. Getting all emotional.
God dang, thanking for Austin Powers right there. Goodness sake. But anyway, of course, first, see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, my time, on Jack Show. Roll and read. Get in my belly. That's right. And then,
Read
of
and
course,
roll.
Read and roll. Read and roll. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, it's like a play on words like rock and roll, but it's read and roll because you'll have a dice roller to roll the dice.
Don't try to you don't justify the joke by explaining it. Just leave it alone. Read and roll. I'll be on Read and Roll tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, and of course, I'll be on with Darachat on my show at 7 p.m. Eastern. So look forward to that. So I'll be busy for I don't know how many hours, but it won't be my show first starting off. So anyway, hope to see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, then 7 p.m. Eastern. And thank you again, Mr. Jack. Of course, Jack, you're always welcome to come back. Like a man who goes to the moon and says, "You know what? This is a nice place to be," and then your air starts running out and says, "I'll be back." That's what it's like. So you're always welcome back. And of course, working on Rumble Squared, the survey stuff will be another thing too. So anyway, guys, thank you for
You
being
think
here.
that's air you're breathing right now?
Oh, I'm not going to go there. But anyway, guys, thank you all for being here. And of course, as always, other than the questions from Hat, I end the show with what was that again? There, Jack. What was it?
It's One Day with You by your boy Pogo.
Mhm.
Take care, everyone.
That's right. I just wanted to see what happened next. Bye, guys. See you later.